Alrighty, welcome everybody back to another episode of the Ball Knower Podcast Team Preview Series. I'm your host, as always, David Miller, joined today by two very special guests. To my right, pointing the wrong way, to my right, we have Alex, and then below me, we have Victor. Both of these guys are Carolina Panthers fans, unfortunately, so we're going to be talking about the Carolina Panthers for the next 90 minutes, most likely. But
Hooray.
First and foremost, guys, how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing good, Always excited to talk about the Panthers, even though hasn't been pretty these last few seasons.
Yeah, I'm good. Pretty much the same that Victor said, I'm excited for this season, but don't have too high hopes.
Exactly.
Well, we're recording this episode, what is it, the day after they played their first preseason game, and I assume you guys watched it. I didn't get a chance to. I did get to hear a little bit of the rumblings from it. Obviously, we were talking about it right before the recording. So just as an overall overview of the game, I suppose, how did you guys feel about the first game?
I feel like the starters are pretty good. Everybody behind them is terrible. I mean, At one point we were up 20-3, I think, and then basically almost blew the entire game because the backups came in. So, yeah. What do you guys think?
Yeah, about the same thing. Special teams unit saved the day. Like, literally. That's the one thing I noticed for sure, is that our special teams unit, they kind of kick ass. I'm not going to lie. Johnny Hecker was a great signing. It was unexpected, but we needed a punter because that rookie punter, I already forgot his name we had. He was awful.
Same. Johnny Hecker, I feel like, was a huge upgrade.
Yep, for sure.
Well,
I don't even know how we got him.
He's the best punter in football. He's got to be an upgrade. The Rams deemed him.
The Rams punter though. That 82-yard.
Okay, yeah, Matt Ariza is going to take his title very quickly.
That was crazy.
But for now, Hecker's still the best punter in football.
Take it. I'll take the for now.
But yeah, that's like what the only player on this team you can argue is the best at their position right now.
Okay, that's not good.
No,
CMC.
Yeah,
I know. When healthy, but how often is he healthy?
A series of unfortunate events is all it's been.
I mean, it really is, because it's not like CMC's an injury-prone player. It's just been a bunch of freak accidents.
It's always different injuries too. It's never the same thing.
Yeah. And that's why I hate when they call him injury prone. Yeah. Because he's not hurting the same thing. It's just like random stuff that just keeps bugging him.
It's not even like football injuries either. It's like he'll be like, yeah, I hurt the middle of my back or something like that. Like it's never like a twisted ankle or anything. It's like the most random injuries of all time.
Let's hope that we signed Deontay Foreman, Chuba Hubbard can probably come into his own and just take the load off, because if we use him, like even if we just use him like primarily as a receiving back out of the backfield or a slot, that'd be perfect, because like that's what he's best at, Just keep him healthy. That's all we need.
Yeah, if you can get in a position where him and Hubbard can split carries, that would be ideal.
Yes.
That'll be fantastic. And we can get into that a little bit more later on when we're talking about the roster, because obviously we're going to have to touch on the running backs. But the biggest move this team made in the offseason, obviously, was trading for Baker Mayfield. They sent, a fifth-round pick to Cleveland?
I think it was a sixth, almost fifth, if he, makes the playoffs or something.
Yeah, I think if he makes the playoffs, it goes up to a fourth, I think.
Oh, yeah, something like that.
But okay. So you traded pocket change for a top 20 quarterback, basically.
I hope so.
Now, did he play in the preseason game yesterday?
He did, one drive.
Okay.
And how did he look? He looked pretty good. He looked better than anything I saw last season.
Yeah.
Fair.
He did. He looked really good. They ended up kicking a field goal on his drive, but he looked solid.
Yeah, under pressure too. I think there was one miscommunication throw with Higgins where he it wasn't near him at all.
Yeah.
I think it was just they didn't understand what they were doing with each other.
He's pretty none of the wide receivers or Christian McCaffrey played. So DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Christian McCaffrey, none of them played.
Okay. Rashad Higgins has been looking good though.
Yeah.
Hollywood, he's been looking
good. Him and Baker got that connection.
Yep, he's been looking
He was the star basically of the first quarter, him and Baker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Valid. Yeah, they've got that Cleveland connection. I think it's going to be really interesting this year to see what Baker's able to do, because we all know Baker Mayfield has the capability to be a quarterback that can win football games. For sure. He's a solid quarterback. He had a bad year last year because he was playing injured and had to completely change his throwing mechanics, which no quarterback should ever be asked to do on the fly, just to switch back once they're healthy. and obviously got cast aside by Cleveland for a quarterback we're not going to get into, unfortunately. And I just can't imagine what's going through that guy's head and the fire that he's about to play with, the intensity. Like, we're about to see pissed off Baker Mayfield.
Oh, yeah, revenge tour. Hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. Revenge tour Baker Mayfield. On top of all that, he's in the last year of his contract as well. Like, Baker is either going to come out and make everybody look like a dumbass, or he's going to completely shit the bed. There will be no in between. Like, we're going to see one extreme or the other. And I'm really excited to see it because I like Baker. I'm a fan of Baker. I like what he brings to the table. I think he can be a little goofy at times. He's got that like Carson Wentz syndrome, so to speak, but it's not near as bad. And I think he's the type of guy that can keep it under control. So I'm really interested to see what he's going to do with Carolina because he has some nice weapons. He has some really nice pieces to work with on offense.
Oh, yeah. I think DJ Moore is finally going to have his first decent, healthy QB for once in his career. Like, not even in college did he ever have a solidified QB1. And we've seen what DJ Moore has done, like consistent 1,000-yard seasons. He just can't get into the end zone very often. But I think DJ Moore cracks 1,300 this season if Baker plays good.
I could see that. I don't think that's ridiculous to say at all.
I think it's going to be a breakout season for DJ Moore.
Yeah. Sure. I think he hopefully solidifies himself as a top 10 receiver in the league.
Which is fantastic because we already paid him. So if he can have a breakout now, that'd be great.
Ooh, and it wasn't much compared to what they're getting paid now. Like, oh my God.
That's was a very smart move to pay him before everybody else got paid.
How long was his deal?
I think it's a 3-year extension.
Something like that, yeah.
It's not bad. So you're still going to have to pay him eventually, but it's not bad for now. You get a couple years out of him before you have to give him a big payday.
Yeah.
I like DJ Moore a lot. I think he's I don't like to use the word underrated because I feel like it's incredibly overused by NFL fans, but he's definitely underappreciated. Yes. He does not get the credit he deserves, and I think DJ Moore is a stud. And I, like Victor said, I'm really excited to see him with a competent quarterback that can stay healthy and not Sam Darnold, which I don't know if you guys saw my tweet earlier.
Oh, I did.
I was setting up my notes for this recording, and under Sam Darnold, I just have written down doo-doo dog water, bad at football. And I think that kind of sums up the entire situation with him. Yeah.
Very accurate.
So I don't think we need to touch on him anymore. But looking at some of these other free agent acquisitions, we've got Matt Ioannidis, Austin Corbett, Johnny Hekker, who we already talked about a little bit, Bradley Boseman, and Xavier Woods. Out of those names, who do you think is going to have the biggest impact this season?
I'm hoping it's one of the old linemen, but I really think it's going to be Xavier Woods, and he's just going to be like, I hope that our secondary is top 3, and they have potential to be, and I really think that we can be like no-fly zone type of stuff.
I mean, I kind of agree. I think the defense is going to be nice. I think Matt Ioannidis could be really good, or he's either going to be, like you said with Baker, he's either going to be great or he's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
I could see him being benched for one of the guys behind him or being one of the stars on the defensive line, especially with Brian Burns on the outside. Like, him coming up the middle is going to be nasty. But, yeah, like Victor said, I hope it's one of the offensive linemen. I just don't know if it will be.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's going to be one of the offensive linemen. I think it's going to be Bradley Boseman, who I think is a better center than – I always get his name right. Is it Paradis or Paradise? How do you say it?
Paradis is what I say, but I don't know if it's
Paradis.
I was going to say, I've heard like 7 different ways to say it. I always say Paradis as well. But my point is, I think Bradley Boseman is a better center than Matt Paradis. I think that was a really under-the-radar, quiet signing that the Panthers ended up making. I think he's going to be great for them. He's a very versatile center. He can do a little bit of everything, fit into any scheme you need him to. So I think he's going to fit with the Panthers very well. Although I do think Woods and Ioannidis are also going to play a massive impact. Like Alex said, I keep pointing the wrong fucking way. Like Alex. No, I did it again. Like Alex said. I really do think Ioannidis has a really high ceiling, especially playing with Brian Burns. I think the two of them make an incredible duo on the defensive line. And I mean, your front 4, if Yeturgros Matos can step up, can legitimately be top 5 easily. That front 4 could be incredibly nasty. And then
adding on to your Boseman thing, the one I really think he'll be good too, because our center play has been awful, but I don't know what Matt Rule and what our coaches are doing, but they're playing Boseman with the twos in camp and during the preseason game. They've been playing him with the twos instead
just
of
playing with the ones.
I think it's like Pat Eflin.
It's Pat
that,
Oh
Eflin.
yeah,
no!
he's ass. I'm
And
sorry.
they're
but-
saying right now that Pat is outperforming Boseman. Like he might
which
be the
I have
starter
no
week one.
idea
How
how.
the
Because if
fuck?
you look at tape, he
I don't
gets
know.
bull rushed constantly. Like he just can't hold his ground, and then it collapses the inside, and that's when our QBs start running around and get their helmets ripped off, like Matt Corral.
They also say that the Icky, the number one pick for their first round pick, he might not even be a starter. Like they haven't decided anybody's a starter basically, except for the wide receivers.
Yeah, all the O-line, the 1s, 2s, and 3s, like they're just switching it up and building no chemistry, which is what I'm scared of. Is the chemistry?
What the fuck is Matt Rule doing?
Because O-line, the number one thing you need is chemistry.
Yeah,
and
I think this week. Because I think this week we do our joint practice with the Patriots. I think they'll make a lot of decisions this week, but it is very weird. Like they've told Icky that he's not like a guaranteed starter and that he has to earn his spot. I'm like, you just spent the 9th overall pick on him. He's definitely the starter. Like we're not going to start Cam Irving. Like that's not going to happen again.
He's so bad. He was getting destroyed in that preseason.
Cam Irving sucks.
He
shouldn't even be on the team.
Shit on.
No, but you guys gave him like legitimate money at tackle, didn't you?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, if I don't care, cut him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you got to cut your losses with that shit. You cannot hang on to Cam Irving of all people. Honestly, I kind of get what Rule's trying to do there, though, with wanting Icky to earn his spot. But
a little bit, but
yeah, I still think it's stupid.
Yeah,
I think he's making a big mistake doing it.
If it was Matt Rule's first year and he was like trying to set a tone, I get it. It's your second year, you're on the hot seat. I don't think you have time to be messing around being like, hey, you're not a starter. It's like, no, dude, I'm a starter. I'm going to be here longer than you are. So what are we doing?
Hey, Brady Christensen has been playing pretty good, though.
That's good because he's my biggest concern for the offensive line by far.
He's been solid. Like
they have him at they had him at right tackle yesterday, which
they had him all over the place. I think.
Yeah,
so where were they playing Moton?
He's basically played every position but center.
Yeah,
which is fine with me.
Which they're having a lot of our O-line do, by the way, which like maybe is a good idea, but I don't think it's gonna turn out well at all. Like just make them focus and build chemistry at one position, so we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like one guy you're trying to figure out where he fits, that's one thing. But if you're doing it with every single lineman you have, that's a recipe for disaster.
It's concerning, very concerning. And that's why our QBs have been running for their lives.
Yeah. Every day I hear something about Matt Rule that just makes me question how the fuck this man has a job. Like it's
me too.
I really don't understand.
He's gonna go back to college and be great. He's just not built to be a
college
NFL.
Coach. Yeah, college coach.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You can fuck around like that and do goofy shit in college because you're going to have weeks where you're playing D3 teams and whatnot. But like at the NFL level, you don't have time to experiment like that. Like Alex said, he's on the hot seat in year 2 and he's fucking around with a first round rookie. That's ridiculous. There is no excuse for that.
Or I mean, the fact that he hasn't named Baker Mayfield the starting quarterback.
Oh yeah, they said they were
still hasn't named Baker.
They were gonna wait for the Patriots game in preseason. I was like, why wait? He's shitting on Sam Darnold right now in camp. Like it's not close. Like
oh my god.
Sam Darnold looked horrible. Other than so in the preseason game, we got a fumble in like the inside the 10, and Sam threw a touchdown pass. But after that, he came back in and looked terrible in the one drive he got after that.
Yep.
Like, I just don't understand it at all.
That touchdown pass was a fluke, by the way. He threw that off balance and just tossed it.
It was not great.
Yeah, it was. Higgins had to reach out. Higgins had good hands on that.
I saw people on Twitter were like, that was a beautiful pass. I'm like, no, it wasn't. He just made a great play on it.
Higgins just cooked his man.
I am fully convinced that Matt Rule has no idea what he's doing with quarterbacks. Because last year, when he was like switching Darnold and Cam Newton every single drive, that was the dumbest fucking thing I have ever seen. Like one of them would have a really solid drive, and then they pull them for the other guy, and then they come back in and shit the bed. Like it doesn't make any sense
at all.
It doesn't. Who was it? Was it John Madden that said if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none? Is that a John Madden quote? Yeah,
it's somebody's quote.
It's somebody important.
Perfect.
But either way, like we all know it. If you
Whenever
have
the bye
quarterbacks, you
week
have
is,
none.
actually probably before the bye week, I think Ben McAdoo is going to be our head coach. I'm telling you, I think he's getting fired very early.
I mean, I don't doubt that
not.
either. But I really hope they don't give McAdoo the keys. I hope they give the DC the keys because I actually like him.
Oh, Phil Snow. Oh, I love him.
Yeah, but the problem is he's a Matt Rule guy. So are they going to fire him too?
Oh yeah. He's like tight with Matt
Rule.
He's been with him for like
college.
15 years or something.
Yeah, like they've been like literally side by side for years. So are they both going to get fired?
Yeah.
Maybe Snow's been scheming in the background, waiting for Matt Rule to get fired to take his chance.
I hope so.
Rubbing his hands together, just like
he's on his Star Screaming Megatron shit.
There we go.
Like, I mean, I hope that's the case because Snow's a legitimately good coordinator. I like what he does with your defense. But I mean, Matt Rule, I don't even have to say anything else. It's just Matt Rule. And the fact that this man hired Ben McAdoo as this fucking offensive coordinator this year, like, dear God, I didn't think it could get any worse. I really didn't.
There is just I don't think anybody wanted
to. I don't think anybody wanted to take the job because they know he's going to get fired. So what's the point in coming to work for a guy that's going to get fired?
Yeah, no, I understand that completely. But that's the point. That's what Rule's attracting is Ben McAdoo level player or Ben McAdoo level coaches. That's horrid. Like
very good point.
It is, for lack of better words, a complete fucking joke. And as a Bears fan, I know what a complete joke of a coaching staff looks like very well. And that is exactly what y'all have in Carolina. And I'm so sorry, but on the bright side, you're either going to find out you have a quarterback on the roster already, or you might be in a position to draft one very high next year to pair with the new head coach. So, I mean, but either way, Matt Rule is going to be gone. There's no world where he stays. I can't imagine.
The only way he stays is if we
make the
playoffs, which
I think you'd have to do more than make the playoffs. I think you'd have to make a run in the playoffs.
No. If we make the playoffs, he'll stay.
Well, also David Tepper is like in love with Rule for some reason, so he doesn't want to let him go.
And he paid him so much money that if we make the playoffs, he's not going to fire him.
Okay, well that's a different story
for his own good. Like they built like this whole other training stadium and it got shut down and broken apart because
a disaster.
David Tepper he's not the best owner.
Yeah, no kidding. If this is what we're dealing with,
he just seems like he doesn't know what he's doing. He just seems like he bought a team and then he's like, "Hey, it's Madden 23. Let me."
Exactly, bro. Like, playing franchise out here on the corner.
It's crazy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because you guys got a new owner within the past couple of years, didn't you? I completely forgot about all that.
For same year, 1 year after Matt Rule. So, or 1 year before, so 3 years ago.
Yeah. What happened with the old owner? He dealt with some sort of controversy, right?
Some Deshaun Watson type stuff.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's unfortunate.
And then got ran out by the owners.
They also have a statue of him, and they had to take it down.
No, it was like in the contract that we couldn't. It was very weird. It was like when David Tepper bought the team, they couldn't take the statue down for like a year. Or something like that.
It was just there, big ass statue.
That's some different level ego type shit right there. Oh my lord.
Oh, back on the McAdoo thing, by the way, he also openly said that he never liked Baker Mayfield coming out of college or anything, and then we go out and have to trade for him. And, like McAdoo's stuck with either Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield.
Well, it's a disaster because Matt Rule wants Sam Darnold to start. Ben McAdoo wants Matt Corral, and our GM wants Baker Mayfield.
Oh, yeah. He loves Matt Corral. McAdoo.
Well, I mean, throw the season away for the future. Fuck it. Like that's what you're doing there, which I don't hate. Like if you want to try Matt Corral, try to develop him out there.
Yeah,
sure.
But you're throwing the season away to draft Matt Corral's replacement. So
it's
true.
I don't know. Maybe you get in there and you draft Will Anderson or something like that. Maybe I'm being a bit too optimistic.
Yeah,
I mean, I would love Will Anderson. Don't get me wrong, but I think
you're totally right. You're totally right. Yeah, that's such a shit. I'm so sorry. I didn't know that coming in. Like, I feel legitimately bad. Okay, but at least our team knows who our quarterback is, and they're all in agreement.
If you go on Panthers Twitter, they want Justin Fields more than anything. So
Well, that's why I wore my Fields jersey. I wanted to subtly rub it in that we ended up with Fields.
Listen, I was never more confident than Justin Fields was going to be our quarterback on draft night when he fell to the Panthers.
He was falling and falling.
Cool, we got us a quarterback. And then somebody in the other room was like, no, you didn't take a quarterback. I was like, what's up? What are we doing? We took who? I was so shocked.
JC Horn was insane the games he played, though.
He's going to be really good.
Yeah.
He was locked down.
He's going to be really good. The problem is people are always going to compare. If Justin Fields turns out to be something, people are going to compare him to Justin Fields.
If Fields turns out to be something, and when Pat Surtain breaks out into a top 5 corner, Horn's going to be really good, but I don't think he's ever going to be able to live up to the expectations set by the guys drafted after him that you could have had.
He has to have like a Pat Surtain type year this year coming up.
Right. Yeah, Surtain's already got the head start on him. Exactly.
I think Horn and Surtain, if Horn stayed healthy, I think it would have been neck and neck.
I agree.
Yeah. I agree.
Because they were both playing neck and neck at like week 3 when he got injured.
Yeah. But like Alex said, Horn got hurt, so he's a year behind Surtain in his development.
Which that injury was, he was pedaling backwards and his foot just destroyed.
Yeah.
I actually was so sad. He's probably one of my favorite players already.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, he's a stud. He's incredible. I'm really excited to see what he's going to be able to do in a full season because I think him and Dante Jackson are going to make one hell of a duo.
Oh, yeah. CJ Henderson, by the way, has been playing great in camp.
That's good because I was going to say I'm not too confident in Henderson.
The reports from camp have been insane about him. He could be like the number 1 guy.
Yeah, that he's
interesting. Okay.
Like he finally came into his own. And that's mainly because I heard Steve Wilkes, our new DB coach, is like really in tune with Henderson, and I guess they're clicking.
Well, the knock on Henderson was just that he didn't want to play anymore, basically. Jacksonville. He was just like, I don't want to play for you guys, so I'm not going to. And
can you blame him? He was playing in the Urban Meyer mess.
And then we traded, a tight end for him? I think we traded
tight end.
We traded Dan Arnold in
Dan Arnold for him.
Yeah.
Could be worse.
Yeah, I mean, with everything the kid dealt with, I can't blame him for not wanting to play in Jacksonville. Yeah. But I mean, if he's pulling it together in Carolina, that's fantastic for you guys. Because, like I said, I was really worried about Henderson because of him not wanting to play football. But
yeah, he didn't look great last season, to be honest.
No, he struggled. But he definitely struggled.
The reports this year have been really good, so optimistic. Yeah. That's why I think we could be no-fly zone. Like 3 really good corners, and then Jeremy Chin in the back. Xavier Woods, who's always been decent.
I was going to say Woods is good enough.
Yeah, he's always.
He's never going to be anything special, but he does his job, and that's all you really need in that secondary.
I still think they should move Jeremy Chin to linebacker.
Oh yeah, but it's also like, well, yeah, our linebacking core is probably the weakest.
It is a business.
Weakness is linebacker. Although,
Shaq Thompson is really good. Brandon Smith flashed.
Really
he did.
That's good. That's really good.
Really well yesterday.
He was driving on the ball a lot.
Okay, that's really good because I mean Smith's athletic upside is insane.
Yeah,
that dude. If y'all can figure him out, I have in my notes and we can talk about him a little bit more later. But I basically he's an insane athlete but needs to learn how to play football. And if y'all can teach him how to play football, then it's over. He could be an incredible linebacker next to Shaq Thompson because his name's escaping me right now. But the guy that's projected to be your starter next to Thompson sucks.
Frankie Louvu or
no, the other one.
Littleton?
Oh, is Littleton projected to be the starter?
I think it's Damian Wilson.
Oh.
Yeah. It's Wilson. That's who I'm thinking of.
He's iffy.
Which is crazy that he's projected to be the second.
Right. I agree completely. He shouldn't be. Corey Littleton's better.
I think Louvu, Brandon Smith, and Littleton are all better.
Louvu, I think, is going to have a breakout, by the way.
I think he might play D-end.
He's like one of those Jeremy Chin guys, but on the front 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's extremely versatile.
Agreed.
I mean, he's going to take up the Hassan Reddick role.
Yeah.
Where he rush the passer and step back in coverage.
Yeah, that's why we didn't pay Reddick and we kept Louvu because it was just way too expensive for us.
Well, we didn't pay Reddick because we got a lot of people we got to pay soon.
Right.
Yeah. Which was saddening.
That Brian Burns contract is going to be expensive.
Oh my God, he's going to make so much money.
So much money.
No, when it comes to Damian Wilson, he's just doesn't fit in today's NFL. You put him in the league 20 years ago, he'd be a stud. He's a really good run defender, but he can't cover for shit. I mean, he is a complete liability in coverage.
Yeah, I think what they want to do is just have Wilson on quote unquote rundowns and then Littleton on passing downs, which is like if they see Wilson, they're gonna be like, "Oh, let's."
I was going to say
throw.
they're going to take advantage of that
They're
real
gonna be
quick.
like, "Let's
Yeah.
throw." What are we doing?
Yeah.
And if it's like Littleton, oh, let's run.
Right.
So, I don't know how that's gonna work.
Like, I mean, I get the thought process there, but today you can't pull that off because, like you said, they're going to attack that right away,
Yep.
and there's no way you can just sit and let that happen every single time. He's a complete liability when he's on the football field. I mean, if you want to get weird,
Shaq because of that, because Shaq's a great linebacker, but
Mhm.
there's only so much he can cover. He's
Yeah.
not the fastest dude in the world.
He's solid though. He's gotten better in zone coverage, I think. Like he's got really good instincts, but he is falling off in terms of his coverage ability because of his speed. He's getting older. He's getting slower.
Yeah, that's why he had to switch from safety. He was drafted as a safety.
Oh yeah.
But his coverage instincts are incredible because of that. And he's my biggest thing when you move a safety to linebacker, I'm a sucker for tackling mechanics. Like Brian Asamoah, the Vikings, I absolutely hate because the dude has no idea what he's doing when it comes to tackling. I mean, he literally comes to a full stop and lunges. It's disgusting, and it's how you break your neck. But Shaq Thompson never had that issue. That's why I like Shaq Thompson so much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He
knows what he's doing. Yeah, he can hit like a fucking train.
Yup. A bunch of times last season. Last season was probably his best season of his career. Just
was
because, yeah, he also had he's only ever had I think one interception before last season, and then last season he got back-to-back interceptions, which was crazy.
Good for him.
He dove on those balls too. Like he played that like Luke Kuechly. Made me happy.
How old is he at this point?
Who, Luke or Shaq?
Shaq.
I think he's 28, 29. He's getting there.
Sounds
he is younger than I thought he was.
Hang on. He's 28.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought he was 30 already. Good Lord. That's one thing I am absolutely terrible at. I cannot remember anybody's age to save my life. I have no idea.
I had to pull up the roster just so I could look up people if I needed to.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the roster pulled up too, trust me. But moving on from there, looking at the departures for this team, obviously we already touched on Hassan Reddick. You've got Frankie Luvu to take his spot. You lost Stephon Gilmore, AJ Boye, Matt Paradise, Cam Newton, Daquan Jones, and Jermaine Carter. Out of those names, who do you think is going to be the biggest loss?
Gilmore for sure sticks out, but it's also he was always going to be a rental, I feel, unless Sam Darnold got it back together somehow mid-season and made a push for the wild card. So is that really a loss? It was a weird trade at the moment. It was like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, Belichick was just trying to throw him at anybody who would give him something.
Yeah.
And I think we started 4-1, and they were like, "Oh, we can make the playoffs. Let's trade for Gilmore." And then
it was that
downhill after that. So honestly, I don't see any of them being a huge
Yeah, really not, because we had Keith Taylor who was always gonna take over his spot. Paradis sucked. Cam Newton was never really gonna stay with the team. Daquan Jones was just a rotational D lineman. And then who else was it? Jermaine Carter, he sucked.
Yeah.
He was only good for 2 weeks and he just fell off. Get him off the team.
He was terrible.
His instincts are horrible. That's what it is. He doesn't know what to play and where to play it.
I agree completely.
He's a decent athlete, but that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I think technically on paper, Hassan Reddick's going to be the biggest loss, but like we already said, you've got a replacement. You've got a guy who can do what he did at a lesser scale, so to speak. So it's not a huge deal.
Pushing my Luvu agenda. He's going to be good. Really hope so. Plus, he has a sick name, by the way. Frankie Luvu.
I've got a weird agenda I'm going to push here later in this episode, and I don't know how you guys are going to feel about it, but it's positive. It's a positive agenda about the Panthers, I promise.
Ready to hear it.
But moving on, we'll get to that in a little bit when we're talking about the defense. We got the draft class. We already touched on Ike Ekwonu and Brandon Smith, but you also, and Matt Corral we talked about a little bit, but you also picked up Amare Barno, Cade Mays, Kalen Barnes. Other than Ekwonu, because obviously he's like the franchise left tackle you guys have been fiending for, who are you guys most excited to see from this draft class?
I think Barno, especially because of what he was flashing in that preseason game. Dude, his spin move was kind of Brian Burns-like, and his dips, the first couple series, he was just getting locked up, but then I think he started figuring out what to do, and he caused an interception, and he recovered a fumble. He caused that Duke Dawson interception because he hit the QB's hand, which is what Brian Burns says a lot, by the way. And then he recovered a fumble off I think it was a Littleton peanut punch.
Yep.
And then he got down into the 20 where Sam Darnold threw a horrible touchdown.
I would kind of agree. I think it's Barno. I think he has the potential to be a starting defensive end for sure if he puts it all together. Him or Brandon Smith. Other than that, because I don't think Matt Corral is going to play.
Yeah. He's not.
Like, if Matt Corral was going to play, I'd say him, but I just don't. I think he needs a year.
For sure, he definitely
I'm going to go with the 2 linebackers that I think could actually play. Or I guess one's a
all right.
But
Well, since we brought up Barno, this is my agenda. Okay. So you guys know, I believe it's Steven Sullivan, the tight end you guys have that was a converted defensive lineman.
Oh, yeah. I do know him.
This isn't my idea, but I love it. So Mike Renner, a guy who works for PFF, he was quoted before the draft as saying that Amare Barno is as raw as you can get for a defensive lineman. He basically has to learn the position, right? What if you take this guy who is 6'5", ran 4.38 speed, and tried him at tight end?
Oh my God. I had a feeling.
I know it's insane, but if you could pull it off.
I don't hate it.
The exact way he put it was he is as raw as a defensive end as he would be a tight end. And I agree wholeheartedly. Like I said, it's not my idea, but I could not agree with this take more.
I wouldn't be mad at it if he didn't pay Ian Thomas. Was it like 18 million?
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Probably the worst contract on the team, other than Sam Darnold.
Yeah, and then when we already had Tremble, like I was like, Tremble's gonna
and
be good.
Giovanni Richie.
Oh, let's go.
Someone doesn't like very much, but he played very well.
He played good in that preseason game.
Did he really?
Everywhere.
He was the only offensive weapon the second that Shai Smith and Rashard Higgins got taken out. It was Giovanni Richie and no one else.
Was he lined up at tight end?
Yeah, he played tight end the whole game.
Okay. Yeah, see, that's kind of my thing with Richie. Since you brought him up, I'll go on my tangent. He's a fine pass catcher. I like him as a weapon at fullback. But in terms of blocking, I think he leaves a little bit to be desired. I don't think he's a horrible blocker by any means, but I think if we're talking a fullback that his primary role is just hitting people, I think Richie is just better suited playing tight end.
He should be a tight end. I pulled up his stats. He had 4 catches for 36 yards.
Yeah. I like Richie more as a tight end than I do a fullback. That's kind of my hatred for Richie, is just that I think he's a tight end playing fullback, and I think he needs to be changed.
I agree.
Because he just doesn't have the I mean, there's not a word for it, but like the pure grit, toughness, intensity. Like, you guys have seen that clip of Jason Kabinda during the Lions Hard Knocks, right?
Yeah.
Where his eyes are just like bulging out of his head when he hears the word grit. That's not Giovanni Richie. Giovanni Richie is a pass catcher and should be playing tight end.
I think the Panthers are one of those weird teams that shouldn't have a fullback.
Yeah.
I don't think they need one. I know how much you love fullbacks.
I know.
Who on this team needs a fullback for them? We don't have a power rusher.
No.
Dante Foreman now, but Dante
true,
Foreman just runs up the gut and just keeps moving.
Yeah, he's going to be the goal line.
Just doesn't want to stop.
Well, the team runs a lot of shotgun, and you're not running a fullback and shotgun very often.
I think they're going to.
I hate to admit it, but I agree.
I think if he makes the team, Richie, he's going to be a tight end. I think they'll use him primarily as a tight end.
They released their first depth chart, and he was listed as a tight end, which, a lot of teams do that with their fullback just so they can put him on the team. It gives them incentive to keep them around. But I think Richie legitimately should just be a pure tight end. I think if you're motioning him into the backfield, trying to make him your lead blocker, you're wasting your time because he just doesn't have it in him.
I think he'll be the third tight end. I think they'll cut.
Tremble's a better fullback, if anything, than Richie.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
Tremble will get in there and block like a goal lineman.
Yes, absolutely.
He'll lay the boom.
And the thing about Tremble too, as a blocker, he's not a guy that's very good at standing up and just holding his ground. But if you send him to the next level after somebody, he can take a linebacker completely out of the play, which is, guess what? Exactly what a fullback's meant to do.
Or you line him up on the goal line and just say, go kill the guy in front of you.
Yeah.
He'll do that.
Yeah.
And he's big enough to be a tight end. I mean, not fullback.
A fullback. Yeah, Vic beat me to it. That was going to be my next point, actually.
Yeah, because
the Tommy Tremble should be the fullback for this team.
He makes sense to be one.
Yeah. I mean, they've just got the guys in the wrong places. If you flip Richie and Tremble, I think you're in good shape.
I think that was literally what they said in that, like, the draft videos that they released after the draft. When they drafted Tremble, they were like, "Oh, we like him because he's gonna like kill the dude in front of him, and that's what we want."
I mean, like I said, in terms of getting to that second level and just taking somebody out of the play with his toughness and his speed, he's like a top 5 tight end in the NFL at doing that. And like, legitimately speaking, I can't name 5 tight ends better than him at doing that. And I think if you want to plug him at fullback, that is just a far better fit. And that's probably a better position change narrative than the Amare Barno thing.
I like Barno, but the problem is they're going to try him at D end for like 3 years, and then he might switch to tight end.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's the Carolina Panthers we're talking about. We can't.
True.
We can't rely on them making the right decision. Like, I see the vision with the Barno thing, and I like it, and I would try it out just in case. Like, run him on a couple of plays, see what his hands are like, kind of situation. Like, if you can't catch, whatever, you can throw him back at D end. But I think it would be in their best interest to try, because, like I said, he's 6'5" and ran what, a 4.38.
Yeah, it was insane.
That is insanity. That
I
is
would have been drafted
bonkers.
sooner just off of that, because after like the mid-3rd round, like starting of the 4th round, you just gotta take shots at people, like athletic freaks, and we got him in what, like the 5th or 6th? The 6th. Yeah, I was like, what?
And I mean, that's exactly what Carolina did in this draft. I mean, we talked about Brandon Smith earlier. He's got to learn how to play the fucking linebacker position. And they took him in the 4th round just because of his athletic profile.
Yeah, they took a bunch of athletes and said...
Kalen Barnes, he ran a 4.2.
Oh, yeah. He had a play right there where he got beat a little bit, but then he didn't because he's just faster.
Yeah. The only pick you guys made... Oh, sorry, Vic. Go ahead.
No, you're good. It was just that the guy juggled the ball, stepped out of bounds, and then caught it back inside, but he stepped out.
So, I did see that. I didn't know that was Barnes on that play, but I saw that clip on Twitter. The only pick you guys made that I didn't like was Cade Mays, just because I think he's a weird prospect. Like, he's got the build and some of the like athletic prowess of an offensive lineman, but there's no aggressiveness to him whatsoever. Like, I saw somebody today, I was watching a video of somebody talking about Cade Mays, and he said he's built like Tarzan with the personality of Jane.
Yeah, he's soft.
He's incredibly soft.
It's not good for an offensive lineman to be soft.
No.
I know I didn't hear much about him in camp, but in the preseason game, he did lay out 2 pancakes.
I'm going to be honest, I haven't heard anything about him in camp. Like, at all.
In camp, yeah, I didn't hear nothing really. I just heard that he was like with the 2s and 3s switching around. But in this preseason game, he was laying out people. I think he got a decent PFF grade.
I mean, if he's pancaking people, maybe somebody lit a fire under his ass and told him to buck up. But I mean, coming out of the draft, dude's soft, straight up.
Yeah, that Cade Mays pick, I was just like, oh, I guess maybe.
I mean, it's the 6th round. But still.
I can't get behind the process of taking a lineman that looks soft on tape. I'd rather have a guy with mechanics issues than an aggressiveness issue. Like, prime example, Chicago took Tevin Jenkins in the 2nd round, 2021. Dude's mechanics were iffy as shit, but goddamn if he's not a mauler, if he won't pop somebody's head off, I'd much rather have that than a guy with great mechanics that is afraid almost to hit somebody.
Trevor Penning.
Okay, Trevor Penning's a little bit too far on that spectrum.
Yeah,
I need a little happy medium.
Trevor Penning played good though. I think like he played really good.
Listen, PFF said he played good. He played awful. He
played awful. I think I saw the grade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Theo Ash did a breakdown of like his first game. Went through the film. He credited him with a sack and a half and 6 pressures.
Listen, PFF is great at some things, and then they're terrible at other things.
Yeah,
I don't like PFF at all. I do not.
That they've rated him, I think they've rated him the #1 rookie.
Yeah, in the preseason.
That is insanity.
And
other than George Pickens, and it's like, no.
Pickens, by the way, is gonna be insane.
Yeah, he's gonna be.
Yeah,
he's just got that. He's got that dog in him.
Pickens is another one that he's either going to be out of the league by week 4 for murdering somebody mid-play, or he's going to be a perennial All-Pro.
Yeah, like he's going to be suspended, or he's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
there's always that one wide receiver in the draft class that's just top.
And they always
15.
end up in Pittsburgh.
Right. Somehow. Who's the wide receiver scout over there?
Hannibal Lecter, maybe? Like
I don't know.
it's got to be somebody. The Joker.
The Joker. Dude, it's like the person analyzing over there doing something right and wrong. Because the people he's picking, personality-wise,
yeah, rough.
They're dogs on the football field.
Yeah. I mean, if you're performing, the NFL shows us every day. If you can perform on the field, they don't care what you do off of it. So if Pickens is like beating up grandmas and kicking babies, they don't care if he's putting up 1,000 yards a season.
Pretty much.
I mean, Antonio Brown threw a fucking couch at somebody, and he still got to play afterwards.
Couch at somebody?
You didn't know that?
No, I did not know that.
He threw a couch off a balcony, and it almost hit a woman pushing a baby in a stroller.
Holy
yeah.
God. When was this?
Like 2 years ago, I think. Maybe a little bit longer.
Oh, right at his decline?
I think it was the season before he got traded to the Raiders, maybe?
No, he was out of Pittsburgh already.
Maybe it was.
I'm almost positive.
Was it when he was with New England?
I think it was either when he was with New England or right after he left.
I totally forgot he was with the Raiders, by the way.
Well,
that lasted like 3 weeks, and he changed his helmet. So they were like, okay, go fuck yourself. And we thought that was the biggest problem the Raiders would experience in the next 5 years.
Yeah, that was the downhill of everything with the Raiders. The Antonio Brown effect.
I still think it's hilarious that not only did it start with AB, but the other side of it started because they were investigating somebody else for being a piece of shit, and John Gruden just happened to pop up in the conversation. Like, yeah, Dan Snyder's basically pimping out his cheerleaders, but John Gruden's also a terrible human being and hates anybody that isn't a straight white male.
They just have a whole group chat of that stuff.
Yeah, I still can't believe Dan Snyder owns a fucking football team. Like, we were talking about the Panthers owner earlier, the old one that was Deshaun Watson stuff. Dan Snyder still owning a football team is absolutely ridiculous. Robert Kraft still owning a football team is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm sure Jerry Jones has done a thing or two that maybe I'm not aware of that is public knowledge.
100%.
Like, there are some shady, scummy fucking owners in the NFL. But, Jerry World and Robert Kraft give Roger Goodell his paycheck. So
I don't think
he's never
Dan
going to get rid of
Snyder
them.
will be around for too much longer.
I really hope not.
I hope not for Washington fans.
Yeah. I still think it would be really funny, though, if somebody bought that team and rebranded them again.
I know.
I really want that to happen.
I mean, they should have stuck with the football team. The Commanders.
They should have stuck with the football team.
Yeah, the football team's like better than the Commanders. Like,
Victor, did you watch did you get the Panthers broadcast crew or the Commanders?
I got the Commanders, and the dude was riding.
The Commanders guy was out of line. It was like nothing I've ever seen.
I know. He wasn't even commentating. He was just talking smack and praising everyone on the Commanders.
Really, he really was. He was like like we would get stopped on like a 1 yard run. He'd be like, "Yeah, that's how we bring the dogs on."
That's how we do it. He's like, "That's how they get down on that D line. We don't let nothing up." And if we would get like a 3 yard run, he'd be like, "Nah, that's too much. That's too much. We can't be letting that happen."
We would get like 10 yards. He'd be like, "That's why they're not good. They're soft." And I'm like, dude, it's the preseason for one. Two, Washington's going to be terrible this year, so you better get used to this.
Some like third stringer would make a random like decent play. He would give an autobiography of that player. He'd be like, "Yup, him right there. He's just that man. That's why we have him on the team because of plays like that. He's just really him."
I'm so glad Victor saw this because the whole time I was watching, I was just going, "What is this guy doing?" Like
it was kind of funny. I was laughing a lot.
Yeah, to be honest, it was so dramatic that it was funny.
And the other commentator next to him was like so monotone too.
That guy hated his job. He wanted nothing more than to not be in that booth with that other guy.
Doing the normal commentating stuff, and the other guys over there like hyper, just going crazy over every player on the Commanders team.
I'm like, dude, I don't even know who this guy is. Like, he's not going to be on the team in 2 days, and you were talking about like he's the next All-Pro linebacker.
He was going feral over that D line.
It was insane.
The D line, he was just like he wouldn't stop talking about them.
Hey, I mean, the man loves his team. You got to respect it.
Especially Montez Sweat.
Montez Sweat's the next Brian Burns in his eyes.
No. You would have thought he was the next Lawrence Taylor the way.
Oh my!
It was insane.
he would hype him up a bunch and they'd be like, "Oh, but he hasn't broken into his shell yet." Like after hyping him up, all of
he
that.
would like backhand compliment like half the team.
Yes, I was like, oh, like
well, it's Washington. You gotta.
Very interesting. It was very interesting.
It was entertaining though. It was.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, all the broadcasts I watched, the commentators were like wet cardboard. Like they sucked.
This guy.
Oh no, this guy.
I would rather see that. Like I would have loved to have heard something like that.
It was
like
pretty entertaining.
I watched the Dolphins-Bucks game because I watched it literally to watch a tight end that I want to see start playing fullback, O'Keefe. And I could not get into it. If O'Keefe was not on the field, I was staring off into La La Land because those commentators did not want to be there. Nobody in that game was any sort of exciting other than Skylar Thompson for the Dolphins. It was just such a boring football game.
I heard he played really good.
Skylar Thompson played great.
Who's your favorite fullback of all time?
Bronco Nagurski.
All right.
I love Bronco. My favorite fullback growing up, though, was Tyler Klutz, if you remember him.
Vaguely.
Played for Chicago and Dallas in the early 2010s.
Mine's Mike Tolbert, but
as it should be. Hell yeah.
I loved Mike Tolbert.
Mike Tolbert was one of the first fullbacks that I liked. I loved Mike Tolbert. Like something about that short little fat dude dancing around after he scored touchdowns.
I loved it.
He was insane.
I loved every. Yeah.
He was also kind of fast for being that short.
Yeah.
Chubby.
He would play running
back. Bowling ball. Yeah.
Like I was rewatching
awesome.
2015 games the other day, and there was multiple games where he was the only running back.
Yeah, they would just hand it off to him,
and he was just running fullback. I mean, running like regular run plays. I was like, all right,
you need a read option account and be like, well, I'm handing it off to you. You go ahead and bulldoze a couple D linemen.
There's no reason that guy with that build should have been able to move the way he did, not only on the field but once he got into the end zone as well, because he could dance very well.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. Even then, watching it, it blew my mind because I'm a bigger dude too, and like I'm not tall, but like bigger. And seeing somebody that was kind of built like me in a way, moving like that, blew my mind, and it still does to this day. Like I made a TikTok like a couple months ago, and it was just clips of Mike Tolbert dancing with music behind it.
I saw that. I'm pretty sure.
And I was proud of that video. It was like a minute long, but it's like my magnum opus. I was so proud of it.
Second best dancer behind Cam that season. God, I miss that 2015 team.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I wish I had a 2015 season to enjoy, but I didn't.
I mean,
I had 2018 until Cody Parkey did what Cody Parkey did.
And that just destroyed the entire season.
My uncle is a diehard Bears fan, and I was living in his house at that night, and it was one of the most devastating moments. I've never seen a 50-year-old man more sad than that night.
I almost watched my dad cry that day. And the worst part was we were watching it like on a illegal broadcast because we haven't had cable in a long time. We just got rid of it to use like Netflix and stuff.
Yeah.
And we were watching it on some bootleg site, so we were slightly delayed. And there's this account on Twitter, and it was called "Did Parkey Miss?" And he would tweet out like as soon as the ball went past the uprights. And my dad got the notification before the play happened on accident, and looked at his phone, and he just said, "Oh, bud." And I was like, "What? What's wrong?" And then the kid, yeah, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible because he said that. Like my dad thinks he's funny, so I was like, "Oh, he made it." Because if my dad's doing that, he's trying to trick me because he thinks it's going to be funny. And then he actually didn't make it. And it just made it 10 times worse. Because I hyped myself up thinking, oh my God, we won the playoff game. And then we didn't. That's horrible.
One of my favorite moments in playoffs that wasn't a Panthers moment was the Minneapolis miracle. Because
Minneapolis?
Minnesota Vikings miracle. Only because it happened to the Saints and they kicked our ass in the wild card.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like the Vikings blew like it was like a 13-point lead, and I was just mad at the Vikings. I was like, no way you just did that. Like you guys had it in the bag. And then Case Keenum drops back, throws an absolute bomb at Diggs, and that happened. I was jumping out. I thought I was a Vikings fan at that moment. I was just like, fuck the Saints, bro. Let's fucking go.
Listen, Kirk Cousins could never.
Exactly.
Remember, never forget, Kirk Cousins could never.
That whole playoffs was a fever dream. Case Keenum, Nick Foles.
Kirk Cousins MVP this season. I'm saying
Nick
it now.
Foles,
I'm going to need you to leave. immediately.
Cousins.
We do not praise Kirk Cousins on this podcast.
That's not me praising him. That's me praising Justin Jefferson. He's going to
Well,
make
Justin Jefferson will win MVP then.
Yeah.
No, they don't give it to wide receivers.
They will for narrative's sake. Kirk Cousins isn't allowed to win MVP. They're not going to give an MVP to the NFL equivalent of a theater kid. It's not going to happen.
He made the top 100, right?
Matt Ryan won an MVP.
99.
99.
Matt
99.
Ryan won an MVP.
Okay, but Matt Ryan is not.
Is Kirk Cousins just plays for Atlanta?
No, he's not. Matt Ryan is better than Kirk Cousins.
You take Julio Jones away from Matt Ryan and tell me what he is.
Better than Kirk Cousins.
It's dicey.
Okay, I'll give you dicey, but I think he's better.
Okay. Let me not be so disrespectful to Matt Ryan. Yeah,
like I'll give you that there's a debate to be had. I'm not going to say it's like Matt Ryan clears, but I do think Matt Ryan's better.
You're right.
Okay. But anyways,
back to the Panthers.
Yeah, I was going to say we got a different football team to talk about. I almost went on like an emotional rant there. Y'all just let me. We got a different emotional basket case of a team to talk about.
I asked about fullbacks, so my bad.
I was going to say, listen, I love it, but that's a mistake because we're going to go off topic for a solid 15
I just needed to know who your
bring
number one was. We're good. We're back.
All right. So I guess now we can go through the roster. We already kind of talked about the quarterback situation, unless there's anything you guys want to add about any of the, I'll say 4 quarterbacks that matter. I'll give PJ Walker his credit.
He needs to get cut, by the way. ASAP.
Yeah.
Keep him, cut Sam.
Oh,
Valid.
if we could. But
What would be, do you guys know like the money situation if you were to cut Darnold?
18 million.
It's like 20 million.
Something like that. So
for how long? Just 1 year?
Yeah, just one.
Yeah,
he's
but it's also
he's
like
a free agent next year, so we might as well just keep him.
Yeah, it's also like there's no point in cutting him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's not worth keeping him.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's not worth cutting him.
Right. Yeah, I forgot him and Baker were the same draft class, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my! If only they had Rosen. They're one away.
Can you imagine? Instead of Matt Corral, we just signed Josh Rosen as our third string.
You walk away with the 3 quarterbacks from that draft class you don't want to have, while Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are out there roaming around.
God.
Oh my lord.
Funny though that we have what was Sam Darnold, the 2nd or 3rd pick, and then Baker
second, and Baker was first.
We have them both on our roster 4 years later.
Oh
Disgusting.
My. I'm telling you, like Vic said early on, Baker revenge season. He is gonna. I really hope Baker tears it up. I really do.
Hope he will.
Because at least he's actually shown he could win games, make it to the playoffs, have a top 15 season. Sam Darnold was just like, oh, he made that one pass. That was really cool. Let's trade a 2nd, 4th, and 6th for him.
I mean, week 1's against Cleveland, so
amazing.
Without Watson, hopefully.
No, I think it's for sure without Watson.
Well,
yeah.
I've heard.
I don't know if
I've heard.
He played that preseason game because the lawsuit's pending or something.
I was going to say, I think if it's not decided by week 1, he's allowed to play.
I've heard that this week the year suspension's coming down.
Oh, well, good. I hope so.
There was like verified people on Twitter talking about it earlier today that they expect by midweek this week that they're going to suspend him for the whole year.
Now, is that the whole year plus or just the whole year?
I think just the whole year. Like it's pretty much done though. That it seems like it's going to be the whole season. And then Cleveland came out and said we're interested in
Garoppolo, which was like he's not much better than Brissett. Yeah. So why give up assets for someone that's a little better than Brissett? Maybe like
because it would be a rental, I guess.
Yeah.
Although that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
I think he's due more than Darnold. I think it's like 25 million.
Yeah, I think it's almost 27. Actually,
yeah. That's crazy. That's a lot.
Because I made a TikTok about it, laughing at the Browns.
Yeah,
because I've taken so many shots at that organization this offseason because it's a clusterfuck.
If that's
poor fans, by the way, the fans are so loyal.
Now, fuck the fans. Half the fans defend Watson. Fuck them.
Before they drafted Baker Mayfield, they were some of the best fans.
Yeah, and then they drafted Baker and they were fine, and then they traded for Watson, and half of them became defenders.
San Francisco is going to end up getting like a number 1 pick for like a first rounder for Garoppolo because they know that Cleveland's going to need him.
Well, Cleveland doesn't have any first rounders to give up. They sent him all the way for Watson.
Yeah, you're right. All right, well.
They'll get a 2nd and a 3rd out. No, I don't think they have a 2nd either. They'll get a 3rd, a 4th, and a 5th for him. And they'll have to take on the whole contract.
I would do that.
Yeah.
If I was San
And they'll
Francisco.
get Kareem Hunt back. Just go crazy with it. A third, a fourth, a fifth Kareem Hunt, and they take on all the money. Squeeze everything you can out of them. God, Kareem Hunt running behind Kyle Juszczyk in a Shanahan offense gives me chills. That's a wet dream right there. Sorry. Anyways.
Tangent again.
Listen, it happens, okay? I get excited. It happens. It's part of it. It's very on brand for me.
I agree.
But speaking of running backs, let's talk about the running backs here because Christian McCaffrey is wonderful.
He's amazing.
And that's going to be my segue into it, guys. Go ahead and give your thoughts on McCaffrey.
He's the best running back in the league.
Agreed.
When healthy, yeah.
He's healthy. Cause like no one he's if we're being honest, he's probably like a top 20 receiver if he only played receiver. If he was just a receiver, he'd be top 20. And then he's a number 1 running back as a runner. Well, he's as a runner, no, he's top 10 as a runner.
Yeah.
And he's a top 20 if you put in all receivers as a pass catcher. You combine that, it's the best running back in football. It's the guy that can do everything but stay healthy.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
I'm a firm believer right now, and I don't know how you guys will feel about this, that like Jonathan Taylor's the best running back in football because of his ability as a pass catcher over Derrick Henry. Because Derrick Henry's great, but he's a non-factor in the receiving game. In today's NFL, you need a running back that can catch the football.
Yeah.
And that is exactly why, when healthy, Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in football because he, like Vic said, he's a top 10 runner. He's not super crazy. He's not Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, or Derrick Henry level as a pure runner. But his ability as a receiver blows all of them out of the water. Like Vic said, he would be a top 20 receiver if he just played receiver. The fact that he's a running back that defenses have to completely game plan around for the pass game is insane. He's a unicorn at the position.
Because if you line up 3 receivers, there go your 3 cornerbacks and maybe a safety, depending on what your defense.
And you can't put a linebacker on him.
You can't put a linebacker on him, so you have to double cover him somehow.
He played 4 games last season. He had over 60 yards in 3 of those just receiving.
Yeah, he's insane.
And then he had close to 65 yards rushing in those 3 games that he played. So if he can stay healthy, I mean, it's a dominant piece to have on offense. The problem is he's never healthy since he's been paid. And I really think that if he does get injured, I think Devontae Foreman's going to be the guy over Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, because Chuba, speaking on the receiving fact, he has brick hands. He can do good after the catch, but that's if he catches the damn ball. I think he had over 10 drops or something in that last season. It was horrible. It would hit him. It'd be like a Madden animation where they hits him straight in the hand and it just falls off.
He turns his head too quick. He's anticipating what's going on in front of him before he has the ball in his hand.
That's what he's good
at. He doesn't concentrate at all. Yeah.
He needs to catch the ball first.
Yeah, he's thinking about it's like the worst thing you can do as a pass catcher. He's thinking about what's going on after the catch before the catch is even completed. He turns his head way too quick. And you're going to drop the ball way too often, like Vic said, if that's the case.
He's not a good enough runner to be the number 1. He's a decent runner. But if you're a decent runner and you can't catch the ball, you're not going to ever start as a running back in this league now.
Like I said early on, if he can develop a little bit, you could have a nice 1-2 punch where they're splitting carries, and that would be ideal.
Yep.
But he needs a little bit of work.
I mean, I could honestly see them having Devontae Foreman on 75% of rushing plays, and then just have Christian McCaffrey as a slot guy or a third down back.
Just to keep him healthy. Foreman's going to be clutch.
Yeah.
He's going to be really good. Just because he's that big body that we haven't had in a while. He's probably like Jonathan Stewart.
Oh, God.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Which is...
I mean, I'm all for McCaffrey making a full switch to slot receiver. I think that would be the best thing for his career, for being totally honest, because he's like... It's kind of weird to say it like this, but he's like a reverse Deebo Samuel, where...
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys... I don't think I have to explain it. You guys get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
And I think it would be smart for him just to make the full transition to receiver at this point with the injuries, because even though they are just freak accidents, you don't want to keep risking it with the money you're paying him and with how talented he is, because you're just throwing him or you're just letting him waste away.
Here's the bad part. I think if he doesn't get injured, they're going to trade him. I think if he makes it through the whole season healthy, they trade him at the end of this season.
That wouldn't shock me.
I think depending on how the season plays out too. Like if we make the playoffs and he's fully healthy, then we're keeping him because obviously we made the playoffs because of him.
But I mean, they were talking about like when we wanted to trade for Watson, he was like one of the main trade.
Oh yeah.
Pieces. So like, I mean, I don't know. It's very interesting, the Christian McCaffrey situation, because how long is he under contract for?
When did he sign 3 more years?
Is it 3 more years? That's a long contract.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Jeez. But yeah.
I think he signed it before was it a year before the 5th year? I'm not sure, but he was still in his rookie contract.
4th year, and he signed a 5-year deal. So yeah, he would have 4 years left because he's in his 6th year now.
It's crazy.
That's a lot.
I mean, he did have 1,000. They thought he was going to be him.
I mean, he was worth it. They had no option. I mean, at that point, the team was horrible. You had no face of the franchise. You had to pay him. There was no other choice.
Can't believe Sam Darnold made me miss Teddy Bridgewater.
I still think Teddy Bridgewater's a fine quarterback.
He was okay. It's just that I think the stat was like we would have been 11-5 or something if Teddy knew how to throw a game-winning touchdown or get us in field goal range.
Where even is Teddy?
Miami. He's to his backup.
He'll be starting by week 10.
Well, yeah, that's what Teddy is. He's a really nice bridge game manager.
Honestly, he's a great trade piece, to be honest. Because if somebody's quarterback goes down, call Miami and go get Teddy Bridgewater.
Especially if Skylar Thompson can be a decent backup, because he did look really good in that first preseason game. But yeah, when it comes to these running backs, if they're in a position where it's in McCaffrey's best interest for him to stay healthy, if you switch him to slot receiver, I think that would be fantastic. And then just bring him in as a third down back, like Alex said. I think that would be great. But speaking of receivers, you obviously have DJ Moore, who we talked about a little bit at the beginning. Robbie Anderson's a good deep threat. But the reason I would be so for McCaffrey making that switch to slot receivers because I have no faith in Terrace Marshall. I don't think he's good at all.
Actually, the opposite. I think Terrace Marshall has been balling in camp, but
I haven't followed camp, so maybe he has been.
He can even show what he's learned from Jay Jettas and Jamar Chase, even a little bit. He'll be decent, just a little bit. Learn from what they did. You played with them at LSU. Just do a little bit of what they're doing, and you'll have a spot on the 53.
See, I think they drafted him because Joe Brady wanted him, and then Joe Brady got fired, and now they're stuck with him. I think Shi Smith is better than Terrace Marshall.
I can get behind that.
Before that preseason game, I thought they were going to cut Shi Smith because CJ Saunders was balling in camp, and then for some reason they never want to cut Brandon Zylstra just because he's a decent special teams gunner. And but after that preseason game, Shi Smith, I think he's got a spot. He's got a spot somewhere.
Yeah, I think he'll end up staying. I think ultimately they'll probably end up cutting maybe CJ Saunders, but I don't know. Maybe Keith Kirkwood, to be honest.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, because I like Keith after all he's been through, but
I've never even heard of these two guys that they have listed as the 7th, and the Rashawn Henry and Derek Wright.
I've never heard of them. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, my laptop just did some goofy shit. I was making sure. I've never heard of him either.
Derek Wright, I think, was good at Utah, but the other guy, I don't know of.
Yeah, I've never even heard of him, but I mean, those guys will probably definitely get cut.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel pretty good. About the wide receiver core. I honestly think Terrace Marshall won't even be the 3. I think Rashad Higgins probably will.
Oh yeah,
I can see that too. Mainly because of his connection with Baker. I think the thing with Marshall is that he could have high upside, but there's a lot of work to be done with him, and I just don't think Carolina right now is the place for a young receiver that needs work to truly develop. Just because looking at that offensive staff, who there do you trust to develop anybody? Unless I'm missing some position coach that's some stud that you guys can correct me on. I just don't see it. Because Lord knows Matt Rule or Ben McAdoo are not going to turn a struggling receiver into a competent starter. It's just not going to happen.
No, but Terrace Marshall will be around for a while because he was a 2nd-round pick, so it's not like they're going to cut him.
Right. But that's kind of my point, though. He's only 21 years old, so maybe a new regime could take advantage of him. And fix him up. I would not be shocked if that was the case. But I think for this year, it's just kind of he's there. I do agree. I think Shi Smith's better.
He could get traded at some point, maybe.
True.
Yeah, he might have decent trade value.
I mean, I know a team that's in need of a receiver that has some nice receiver developmental coaches as a part of the team.
Yeah.
Because the last receiver they traded for is already hurt and isn't going to play for like 6 or 7 weeks. Yeah, high ankle sprain.
Oh, that's tough.
Yikes.
Yeah, and camp too. He didn't even get to play in the first preseason game.
You send over a second rounder, we'll send you Terrence Marshall real quick.
We'll give you Eddie Jackson.
Honestly, you can have Robbie Anderson for a second rounder if you want him.
No, we'll give you Eddie Jackson for Terrace Marshall straight up, and then you can move your boy Chin to linebacker.
Okay, I'd take it.
Yeah, have fun with Eddie Jackson not knowing what football is for 90% of the season.
You're not wrong.
I don't know if we could deal with that.
Trust me, the last thing any defense wants is Eddie Jackson. Like, I don't want to go off on a full tangent again, but just to drive my point home, he jumped on a pile yesterday in the preseason game, and I got excited because that was the first time I've seen that man do that in his going into game 6. Yeah, like that's insanity. Oh God, my laptop is screwing up. Talk about the tight ends for a second. I gotta figure this out.
All right, you sound good.
Okay, well,
yeah, you sound.
Okay, well he left.
Did it crash?
The tight ends are what they are. Honestly, who do you think will start, Tommy Trimble or Ian Thomas?
I think it's just going to be Ian because I heard McAdoo likes him and they paid the shit out of him.
Yeah, we paid him. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You were right? Didn't he get like $20 million? Let me look it up. How much money did he get? It was something crazy, I feel like.
Yeah, it was like 3 years.
3 years,
high teens or low 20s.
What are we talking about? Ian Thomas?
Yeah, how much he got? 3 years, my God. $17 million, $9 million guaranteed.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Oh, that's bad.
Okay, that's it. I
don't know how he's the type of guy that you sign for like the minimum out of free agency when you need a body in the tight end room. He's not a guy that you give that kind of money to. He's a functional tight end too at best, and you're paying him legit starter money.
I think what I saw was McAdoo came in and he like really liked Ian Thomas's tape or something, and he was like, "Pay him. I want my tight end," because he loves his tight ends, and he's like, "Just keep Ian Thomas of all people."
Here's Ian Thomas's stats for last year: 18 catches, 188 yards, and 0 touchdowns.
Oh my Lord!
And we paid him $18 million.
Yeah, he's getting low end legit tight end money or high end blocking tight end money, and he's not even a high end blocker.
How many? Here's a fun
blocker.
Fun question. In his 5 years he's been in the NFL, how many touchdowns do you think Ian Thomas has scored?
It's got to be single digits.
It is.
It's 4, right?
It's 4. Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
That's
tight end.
That is brutal.
He doesn't even have 1,000 yards in 5 seasons. He has 802 yards.
Oh my Lord.
Hopefully McAdoo saw like George Kittle in him for some reason, and
that's really bad.
Yeah, I mean, what does he do? He's not that athletic. He can't run routes. He can't win 50-50 balls.
He's not a good blocker either.
Like, no.
I would rather have Tommy Trimble block.
Yeah.
Yes, 100% of the time. That's why we drafted Trimble in the 3rd round.
That's why we signed Dan Arnold last year.
Yeah, because Ian Thomas is not good.
That's insanity, dude. That might have been the worst signing of the entire second worst, because Christian Kirk happened. Second worst signing of the offseason.
I think that Tommy Trimble could be the starting tight end at some point.
Yep.
Oh, I think he could be too. Hell, maybe this is a wild take, but I don't care. I'd start Giovanni Richie over Ian Thomas at tight end.
Me too. Yes. Okay. After yesterday, sure.
Yeah.
Is Thomas injured or something? Because I'm just like realizing this. I didn't hear his name mentioned once during camp.
I'm looking at the depth chart. He's listed as questionable. It doesn't say what his injury is, but he's listed as questionable.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Maybe he tweaked something.
Maybe.
Oh, here we go. Ribs. He hurt his ribs.
Of course he did.
Because he's soft.
But he's expected to continue catching passes this coming week.
Great.
Yeah, I was going to say you'll start hearing his name now.
Drop 3 passes as practice.
Baker Mayfield got into a fist fight with him.
This is what I always say. I
probably
think the
will.
Panthers have a crazy roster. They just never have had a quarterback. Like
No.
the skill positions are pretty decent.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We're athletic everywhere but QB.
Yeah.
Like,
Baker's there.
Yeah, Baker's got a little bit of mobility to him.
Watch,
He can get
Baker's
outside
going
the
to ball
pocket.
out this season, and we're going to pay him like $150 million.
And then he's gonna fall off the face of the earth.
please don't jinx this.
Baker's gonna reset the QB market and then never play at an elite level or never play at an above average level again. Oh my god. I'm not even I'm sorry, knock on wood. I don't want that to
he
happen.
would
I
have
can't
to
curse you guys like that.
He would have to win a playoff game, and then they would play him.
Baker's gonna win MVP and then never do anything
If
again.
he plays
If
anything,
Baker Mayfield wins MVP, we're really good this year. So go ahead and pay him, I guess.
yeah. If
He'll
he
get the
plays,
Aaron Rodgers treatment, play really good in the regular season, get you guys the 1 seed, and then get knocked out in the divisional round.
honestly,
If that happens this year, I'll shave an eyebrow.
I'm holding you to that.
Yeah, go ahead and clip that. I'll shave an eyebrow if we make the divisional or round and lose because Baker Mayfield wins MVP. Sure.
Bet.
Jeez.
if Baker
I'm gonna get a
Mayfield
hold of the script
plays-
writers
I know,
after
why
this
did I do
recording.
that? Because what if he does win MVP?
I'm telling you, I'm gonna call the
There's
script
no
writers
way.
tonight.
Honestly,
no
it
way
might be
Baker-
worth it for me. If he wins MVP,
Oh
guys,
yeah,
if we're
Baker
gonna lose-
Mayfield wins MVP.
if we
I'll
lose in
be
the
pissed.
divisional, though, I'm going to be pissed. Because then I'm just going to be sad and one eyebrow.
Andrew quarterback's gonna be making $200 million.
God, it's going to be
Jesus.
so
and we have
tough.
to pay Brian Burns.
You're gonna have to. Could you afford to do that? Pay
Yeah,
Brian
we
Burns if
have
you pay
to-
Baker 200 mil?
We have to play,
Yeah.
pay Brian
Okay.
Burns, and then the year after, Jeremy Chin, Derek Brown, maybe Gross Matos.
Because to be honest,
Oof.
we're not really paying anybody after next year.
It's
We
just
have like
everybody's coming up.
because we're not paying anybody
Okay.
except for DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey.
Okay. Well, you have to trade CMC then.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, real quick, I just wanted to bring up with the receivers since my computer was being goofy and I didn't get to bring them up. I am very intrigued by Charleston Rambo as a player because, he's a weird player, but I think there's something there. Like he's a really smooth mover. I like his hands a lot, and he's really good after the catch. But he's scrawny and can't play vertically. And he's also not very fast by any means. So I don't know how you make him work. Maybe he's like a slot. Maybe he can be your slot.
I don't think he makes the team. He
Yeah, I
didn't
don't think
play
he's
at
gonna make
all
the team.
yesterday.
He didn't?
He
I
didn't
don't
play a
think he
snap, I
did.
don't think.
That's
Yeah, I
unfortunate.
think the
Oh,
only
no,
thing
he
he's
played-
listed as is like the third string returner.
This
Mhm.
says he had 2 targets yesterday. He didn't catch either one of them.
No.
That's unfortunate, man.
So
How are you going to have a name like that and not be good at football?
Right.
that's it's
Such a
tough.
waste.
He's very small for a
Yeah,
wide receiver.
like I said, he's really scrawny.
Yeah.
Like you could almost like Robbie Anderson suffers from the same thing. He's also a scrawny dude, but at least he's got the speed to match. Rambo doesn't have the speed is the problem.
He'd
So
have
he
to be a
doesn't have-
really good special teams guy, I think, to make a team.
Yeah, I can see that. Because he
And I
doesn't
don't
have,
know if
Which is hard at his size.
yeah, because there's no physicality to him, there's no speed to him. But once he has the ball in his hands, he can work. It's
Running
weird.
back.
He's such a weird. See, he's not big enough to be a running back. He's
Like
such a weird player.
it's like a slow Steve Smith.
Yes.
Just give him touch passes.
See, I could see that because of how much McAdoo likes those quick bubble screens and shit.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He's got to get
But,
fat
like-
and we'll move him to tight end.
There you
Just give him
go.
the year off, have him eat as much as he can, and then we'll just put him at tight end.
There you go. Perfect. Then
No,
we
he
don't
is
have to
only
try
6'1".
Amari Barno at tight end.
He's only 6'1", so that might be a problem.
He can be a power slot.
And maybe he doesn't block very well, but
He can be a real thick slot receiver.
I never thought during this preview we'd be talking about the 7th wide receiver on the roster. But hey,
His name is
here we are.
Charleston Rambo. How can I not bring him up?
Fair point.
Like, yeah, he's not going to make the team. You're right. But his name is Rambo. He's a
Yeah.
badass. But moving on from there, we'll talk about players that are actually going to make the team and look at this
That is a
offensive
really
line.
cool last name, though.
Yeah, and his first name's
Yeah,
Charleston. Like, That's a dope name. That's a wasted name, if you ask me.
Bad at football.
Yeah. Maybe he can find a career somewhere else where his name will get some use out of him. He can open up Charleston Rambo's Automotives or something.
Jeez, this is how you know it's bad. Under his like I'm on his ESPN profile, his latest news is all highlights from Miami 9 months ago. So there's been no camp news about Charleston Rambo.
That's sad.
That is
poor Charleston.
For him.
Very unfortunate.
He'll be all right.
XFL time.
He'll be sharing.
Hell yeah. Put him in the XFL. He'd be the face of that league with that name.
He's going to play arena football.
Even better.
Honestly,
hell yeah.
That might work for him.
With that type of name? Yeah. Absolutely. But looking at the offensive line here, obviously Ike Ekwonu, the top 10 pick, absolute demon. I saw someone yesterday compare him to Trent Williams, and I didn't hate it, if that gives you any indication of how good I think this guy is. Like, I see the vision there. Obviously, he's got a little bit of work to do, like, as a pass protector. Like, at NC State, there were some issues there. But he's smart, and he can pick up on things very quickly, so I don't think that's going to be a huge issue. You'll probably see some hiccups year one, but past that, I mean...
He wants to be here, which is a huge
right.
thing. He grew up in Carolina.
Yeah, he's a native.
That is huge to me.
Yeah. But I mean, as a run blocker, there was, first of all, nobody better in the class, I don't think. And second of all, I think he's going to be like top 5 run blocking offensive tackle within 2 years. I think he's going to be insane as a run blocker. And obviously you guys can use the offensive line help. So I think Ekwonu was probably the best pick for Carolina. Out of all of the tackles that could have been available, even if, I'm not going to say if Evan Neal was there because he's a little bit, well, no, even if Neal was there. Was he still there? Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because yeah. I was thinking Carolina picked where they picked last year when they took Horn. I got my numbers mixed up. You're right.
6th overall. Everybody was still available.
So I know some people are upset they didn't take Neal, but I think that was the right pick.
I thought Icky was going too.
So did I. I didn't think Icky would come.
I could have seen
when
it.
he did. I was like, let's go.
Yeah, when he fell to 6, I was like, hell yeah, punch that card in.
Yeah.
What are y'all waiting for?
I mean, he might have the highest upside out of any player in this entire class.
I was terrified that they were going to take Kenny Pickett instead of an offensive lineman.
Oh yeah,
I mocked them Pickett for months. I had confident they were going to take him
there every single time I mocked them. I had a quarterback.
I just wanted an O-line.
Me too.
Yeah, they definitely made the right pick. I love Ike Ekwonu. He's going to be awesome there. And then Bradley Boseman, I already talked about, like I said, he's a very versatile center, really good to get off in the run game. He's very balanced. He's physical. He's smart. He's really tough. And I like him a little bit more than most centers because he's somebody that's had to earn it. In 2020, he was fighting for his job in Baltimore, and he beat a couple guys out to get that job. So he's been there before where he's had to earn it, kind of like we were talking about earlier with him working with the twos. He knows what he's doing there. So hopefully he can pan out for you guys. I think he'll be great there. But I mean, if they're trying to play, who'd you say it was Elfline at center?
Yes.
Dear God, man. I don't.
So bad.
Bad doesn't begin to cover it.
Like, I don't think he should be on the team.
I also don't think he's ever played center or not very much.
I don't think he has either.
Yeah, he's a primary guard.
Mm-hmm. It's insanity. I mean, there's got to be some connection. Did he go to a school that Rule coached?
No, he went to Ohio State.
I have no clue.
What the hell is he doing?
No idea.
Oh my God.
Maybe Boseman's hurt or something.
That has to be it. Boseman had to have tweaked something. Like maybe it's not even a serious injury. Maybe he's just got pains, and they're like, "Well, we know he's going to be good."
Started yesterday, so. Do you, Victor? Do you know who started
at center? I think it was Eflin or whatever. Yeah, it was him.
I'm looking at ESPN's depth chart right now, and they've got Boseman starting an Elfline at guard.
That's good.
Yeah. So hopefully they're doing the right thing there, because that's my biggest concern with the offensive line is the left guard position.
Well, I've also heard they want to start Michael Jordan at that, which is
he's the reason Joe Burrow tore his ACL.
He's the worst.
He might be the worst football player in the NFL.
Well,
genuinely speaking, there's an argument to be made.
Maybe he shouldn't be playing. I can tell you that
he shouldn't be on a team. period, let alone playing. He shouldn't be rostered. He shouldn't have a job. He should be one of the XFL's middest.
You're saying this, and he's going to be our starting left guard.
If he's your starting left guard, Baker Mayfield better get used to rolling to the right, because you are going to have every single defensive tackle in the NFL run straight through him. Well, like I said, he was the guy who let the guy through to tear Joe Burrow's ACL. That was him.
I don't even know why they have Jordan even as a starter when Ekwonu can play guard too. So if they want Christensen as left tackle, Ekwonu at guard, Boseman at center, Corbett at right guard, and then Moton on right tackle. Like
sounds
Jordan,
good to me.
Yeah,
Jordan shouldn't even be in the twos either.
No,
like I said, he shouldn't be rostered.
I'm looking at the same ESPN depth chart. They have him as the third left guard. So
is that where he's at? Yeah. Oh my. But yeah, left guard, I like Brady Christensen as a tackle, but I'm really worried about him going up against interior defensive linemen because he doesn't have that push or that strength to him to go up against a guy like Aaron Donald or Chris Jones or Jeffrey Simmons or Jonathan Allen. I'm trying to think of Vita Vea in your division. Like, he's going to get cooked if you try to put him up against Vita Vea. But, yeah. I mean, his technique's nice, and he's a hell of a lot better than Cam Irving or Pat Elflein. So even if he's going to get cooked constantly at guard, he's probably still your best option, which is worrisome. Like, I get wanting to play Icky at left tackle just because he's going to be your best lineman, and you want your best guy at left tackle. But the way it's set up now, it's almost like Christensen would be better as your left. Like Vic said, Christensen's better as your left tackle, and Icky's better at guard.
They might do that.
Yeah, that's probably like our best lineup right now. If you want to develop Ekwonu a little bit at tackle or something, or like vice versa, just put Ekwonu at left tackle and Christensen at guard. Ekwonu will help him out. Boseman's great at center. He'd help.
I was going to say, if you're playing Christensen at guard, you're going to have to rely a lot on the two guys next to him to pick up his slack in the run game, at least.
Bad guys to have, though. Boseman and Icky.
No, not by any means. I would say that's probably why I'm not like detrimentally worried about it.
Yeah.
Because of the aspect of that, but it's still a concern.
I mean, if he's the worst starting offensive lineman, I think you're doing okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about it.
A lot better than last year, that's for sure.
A hell of a lot better than last year. Carolina did a very good job of fixing their offensive line.
Hopefully.
I will say, though, I do kind of have concerns about Corbett as well, just because I don't know how he's going to fit into this type of system. Like, he was built for LA's system. He started out his career very, very quietly. He didn't do much. He was bad, honestly, and then he went to LA and fit their like wide zone scheme that allowed him to use his athleticism and move a lot. So he really benefited from that. And I'm not sure how he's going to work in this inside zone scheme that they run in Carolina, because he's going to be asked to go straight up on defenders, and I'm not sure if he can do that. So
I've seen a lot of system guy.
Yeah. Like I think he's a good guard, and if he can figure that out, great. But I am a little bit worried about that. I'm not near as worried about it as I am Christensen, but it's something at least worth noting, I would say.
For sure. But I think he wasn't that good in the preseason game. I think he got cooked twice. Yeah, Corbett. I think he really did get cooked twice.
He didn't look fantastic.
Okay.
But it's also just one. I think when he played a driver too, so it's also like,
right.
Is it something to worry about? Because in camp he wasn't bad. Yeah. So maybe just a bad rep or two.
Yeah.
Which happens.
Yeah. And then also Taylor Moton's here, and he's awesome.
Yeah, Taylor Moton.
I'm not going to say anything negative about him. He's like a human rocket right tackle. He's dope.
Yep.
Easily a top 10 player at right tackle, maybe a top 10 tackle, period. He's awesome.
He's great. Love him.
Yep. Fantastic.
So glad we paid him, because they were thinking about not paying him.
Really?
Yeah.
That's goofy.
I was like, why are you not going to pay the only offensive lineman we're
right.
That
right.
You want to kill the QB?
Now, before we move on to the defense, is there anything else about the offensive line you guys want to touch on? Because I think we pretty much covered it.
Yeah.
Nope. Good. Just glad we upgraded.
Yeah. All right, then moving on to the defense. Obviously, the star here, Brian Burns, absolutely incredible.
Yes.
The only knock on his game is the fact that he doesn't necessarily have that dominant bull rush ability, but he's so quick off the line that it doesn't always matter. Like, he's one of those guys that if you get your hands on him, he's going to have problems, but that's way easier said than done, obviously. It's really hard to...
Yeah.
Another knock on him, I think, is sometimes he over pursues because he's so quick and bendy.
Yeah.
That he can't finish on them a lot. And that's why he's always hitting the back of their hands and stuff. Because he can't finish the sack because he's just too quick for his own good. He over pursues.
Yeah, but I mean, his get off, his bend, his quickness. He's a one-of-a-kind athlete at that position.
Yep.
And if
his
he could...
spin move is...
Oh my God, yeah. I genuinely think if he could put on like 5 pounds even, just hit the weight room a little bit, he could be like a Von Miller type pass rusher. Like generational type dude. If he could just add a little bit of power to him. Because you see the moments where like he'll wind up and he'll run through somebody. It happens. It's not consistent, but it happens. If he can make that a consistent part of his game, he's unstoppable. He's unblockable. He would be... I mean, he would
have some... And that's why they drafted Derek Brown, and they're getting Matt Ioannidis just to eat the blockers so that Brian Burns is one-on-one.
And you can stunt Burns inside and let him just take advantage of them eating as much space as possible.
I think
because that's what they're great at.
Finally, the year he breaks 10 sacks. I mean, he's had 9 the last 2 years.
Oh, he's mad about that too.
Yeah, he wants 10 really badly.
Watch him get 10 in the first game. You just eat Cleveland that bad.
Just goes crazy. Watson's playing too.
I mean, who's Cleveland's left tackle? Jedrick Wills? He was getting eaten alive in that first game.
Yeah, that's
that preseason game yesterday or the other day.
And they lost their centers out for the year now.
Yeah, I hate that too. I was such a big fan of Nick Harris. I really wanted Nick Harris to break out, but I wouldn't be shocked to see them just go get Treader again.
He just comes.
I wouldn't. I mean,
I don't know if he'd want to come back though.
That's the thing. I don't know if he'd come back.
Yeah, I guess the whole Watson thing.
Yeah.
One of their linemen, I can't remember who, was like embracing the whole being a bad guy thing the other day, and I was so mad. I can't remember. I think it was Bitonio. I think it was Joel Bitonio. Yeah, he was like,
good
Browns versus everybody. We love it. We're taking it on. Like, dude, your quarterback's a serial predator. Shut up. It's not Browns versus everybody. It's everybody versus your goddamn quarterback.
QB.
Like, what they need to do in practice is just let Myles Garrett through.
The longest yard.
Yeah, literally. Please. I was begging Trayvon Walker to pull a longest yard on that man in the first preseason game. Like, I do not advocate for injury. I never will, except for 2 instances in my entire life. There have been 2 players that I've wanted to see get hurt. Big Ben and Deshaun Watson. That's it.
Valid.
Those are the only 2 I've ever broken that rule for, and I think they're both valid players because they're scummy fucking people. But anyways, I love Brian Burns. Brian Burns is absolutely incredible. Alex is dying over here because I keep getting off topic.
No, you're good. I'm trying not to laugh honestly because I feel the same way about Watson as you do. So I'm just trying to hold it together.
Fair enough. Yeah, people come on here and don't realize how quickly I get off topic and how long I commit to being off topic.
Listen, one of my most viral TikToks is saying that Deshaun Watson should never play again, and the comment section on that video is just...
It's awful.
It's
always one of 3 recycled comments too. It's either innocent until proven guilty, women lie, or something in between. Or cope. That's the other one. Cope. And like, dude, we get it. You saw some random guy on Twitter tweet that one time, and now that's your defense for a sexual predator. You're 12 and don't understand the legal system. Congratulations. Because that's what it is. It's a bunch of fucking 12-year-olds.
Oh, it really is. Yeah. Or it's like a bunch of 50-year-olds. There's no in between. It's like, it's tough.
Yeah. No normal human being in our age range is like okay with what's going on.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, it's weird though because I look at Carolina's defense. They're really the only like weak spot I see is linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And even then, it's like if someone steps up enough,
it's not the worst.
Yeah. It's just I always forget. It's just Damian Wilson. That's the only issue.
They had no plan for when Luke and Thomas Davis left, and they're trying to figure it out still to this day.
Yeah.
AJ Klein and David Mayo, I think it was, with the guy.
That's why I'm so excited for Brandon Smith, because if he can figure out how to be a linebacker, he's so good athletically that him and Shaq Thompson would be a crazy duo.
He's 6'4", 250 and ran a 4.5, and he can jump out of the gym.
Yeah, just teach him how to tackle, and we're good.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you literally have to teach him how to play the position, though. That's the only downside. I mean, he has no idea what he's doing out there.
That's why it would be great if we had like a veteran linebacker that could like Shaq Thompson. Yes, you're a veteran, but you're also not like a fantastic linebacker. Like if we would have went out and signed like Bobby Wagner or something, that would be perfect for Brandon Smith. Obviously, that's being like
overly optimistic, but you're right. That would have been fantastic. I'm sure there was somebody else out there too that I'm forgetting that could have done that as well. But yeah, you need a mentor for this guy.
Yeah, or there's a linebacker that wants to be traded right now, and I think he would fit in perfect on this team.
He doesn't want to be traded. He's leveraging his contract. He's trying to get extended.
The statement he put out was very much like, I don't want to be here.
Okay, listen. You want me to go on a tangent about this?
We can.
Okay, listen.
A quick one.
The thing about Roquan Smith is he doesn't have an agent. And Ryan Poles, the offer he gave him is like the normal first pitch offer a GM is going to send to an agent, right? Mm-hmm. It's not great. It's less than he's worth, but he's a GM and he's trying to get the best value he can. That's part of the business. And any agent is going to look at that and be like, okay, no, we're good. And there's not even, oh shit, I almost dropped my drink. There's not even going to be a need for the player to be involved in it because the agent's going to shoot it down right away, right? There's the middleman takes the player out of the emotional aspect of it. But because there's no agent, Roquan doesn't have that. And he just sees that and thinks, oh, this is what I'm worth to them. And he gets insulted by it. He feels insulted by it.
Okay, but at the same time, if you're Roquan Smith, don't take offense to this. You don't want to play for the Bears.
No, he wants to play in Chicago. In his statement, he said he wants to play in Chicago.
I get that he wants to be in Chicago, but he has to look at the team and go, we're 4 to 5 years away from being a contender again. So they're either going to have to pay me more than I'm worth to be here or trade me.
Yeah, I get that. I get where you're coming from.
Because if you're Chicago, it's like, dude, we're trying to build something. We can't pay you everything. But at the same time, you're worth more than we're offering you. So honestly, I think eventually he will sign there. But
yeah, I don't see a world where he gets traded.
No.
I really think, like we saw it with Debo earlier in the offseason. It's just what players do now.
I mainly said that just to mess with you, but
I know you did. But I get very defensive over it because Roquan is my favorite player right now.
It makes sense.
And David Montgomery. So I got which both of them are up for a fucking contract. One of them has to stay because I really don't think they're going to extend Monty.
They're both going to stay because nobody's going to pay what the Bears would ask for Roquan.
Yeah, true.
No one's.
They're either going to want like a solidified receiver and a mid-round pick, or they're going to want a first-round pick.
They're going to
give up a first-round pick. Yeah,
they're going to want their first back, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and they're not going to get it.
Yeah, like I said, I don't see a world where Roquan gets actually traded. They're going to get it figured out. It's just the negotiation part of it because there's no agent involved. He didn't get shielded from the insulting first offer that every GM's going to throw out. And he took it to heart because Roquan, I mean, we've had contract issues with him before. When he first got drafted, he didn't sign his rookie deal until like early August. So this isn't the first time we've dealt with this. I'm confident he'll stick around, especially because of Eberflus coming in. He saw what Eberflus did with Darius Leonard, and Roquan's going to be playing the same exact role in this defense. And Roquan knows his production is going to go way the fuck up.
Plus, Roquan is the defense at this point.
Yes, he is the defense. And Chicago is a team that is known for not only their defense, but their linebackers. And Roquan, some people are already ready to put him in that conversation with Urlacher, Briggs, Butkus, Singletary, and on. But yeah, speaking of linebackers, this team, obviously, they could use some help here. I just don't have any faith in Damian Wilson whatsoever. And Shaq Thompson's good. Top 10 to 15 backer.
Victor, you said really high on Frankie, right? Louisville?
Yep.
Yeah,
Frankie
yeah.
Louvu agenda. Just because he just plays with everything he's got out there on every snap. Like last season, he was just a rotational dude, but every time he was on that field, you heard his name, or he was doing something, or he was somewhere in that play. And now that he's a legitimate, like a for real starter, I hope we keep hearing his name the same way.
Yeah. That was ironically in my notes. I had that he was somebody that got limited opportunities but made the most of them. I agree 100%. I think Luvu is a very interesting player.
So yeah, they have to like him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
like I said, he's your Hassan Reddick now. That's what he's going to do. That's the role he's going to play.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't have Reddick's upside, but he can play the role well. He's serviceable.
Yeah. And he gives us depth at edge and off-ball linebacker. So
yeah.
Yeah, because I honestly think if one of our starting DNs goes down, I think he would step in as the starting DN.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or if sorry, go ahead.
At least on third downs, I think, like pass rushing scenarios, I think he would be a pass.
Well, he's a good run stopper too.
Yeah.
I could see him just being a straight up edge.
I don't know if he's big enough to be an edge. How big is he?
I don't know. That's a good point.
He is 6'3", 235. So, I mean, maybe.
Small edge.
A little small, but
maybe not line him up right on the line of scrimmage.
Like you said, a rotational edge, though.
Yeah. But I think the biggest, like, what's the word I want to use here? Almost X factor, kind of, but not really because of his talent, because of what he can be or can't be, is Yeturgos Matos, who I think is the only thing holding that front four back from being top 3 in the league.
Yeah.
And it's not because I think he's bad. He just needs to hit his potential because he has not yet.
He needs to learn. He's a decent run stopper. He just needs to learn how to use his pass rush moves to get in there. Because most of the time when he gets a sack or something, they're kind of running into him because Burns is chasing after him. Brown is pushing the pocket inside, and he's just right there at the right time.
He's very good at like assisting, basically.
Yes.
And that's exactly how you want your edge to be set up. I mean, you've got Burns as your true alpha, and then Matos is the Robin to his Batman. Matos, he's finally going to get that opportunity to be like the true starting edge guy. So maybe he'll be able to take that step up, and that's kind of what you're banking on here.
Yeah.
We kind of skipped over the defensive tackles. I know we touched on Ioannidis early, but Vic, if I'm not mistaken, you're a big fan of Derek Brown, right?
Yes, sir. He's just big body. And he's shown a lot of what I think Kawan Short has been talking to him a lot, mentoring him. And Kawan Short, I think this is Derek Brown's third year.
I believe
Kawan Short in his third year is when he really broke out and became one of the better interior D linemen in the league. So if Derek Brown is learning anything from Kawan Short right now, it's about time that Derek Brown really takes that next step up. And if he can do more than just eat blockers and just stuff up the middle, if he could pass rush, it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I think honestly, Brian Burns is going to do a lot for Derek Brown because I think he's going to force people. Like you said, Victor, Brian goes upfield so much, he's going to force people to come back down into Derek Brown and Matt Ioannidis, and I think they're just going to get a lot of cleanup this season.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think if Derek Brown can find a little bit of consistency as a pass rusher, because that's been my issue with him, is he just can't quite pull it all together. Like Vic said, it's year 3. That's kind of when you want things to start coming together. If he can pull it together, I just said come together, pull together like 5 times in a row. If he can do it, then I think you have a hell of a pass rush.
He's he's a poor man's Vita Vea, basically.
Yes. I love that. I absolutely love that.
Just absolutely eating up them blocks.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what you really want from your nose tackle.
Yeah.
Just be big enough that they have to put 2 guys on you, because if they don't, you're just going to push one guy just straight into the QB.
That's another reason why I think Matt Ioannidis is going to do so well, because I think so many people are going to be focused on let's double team Derek Brown that Matt Ioannidis is going to be one-on-one rushing up the middle.
And he can bully people when he's one-on-one. He's like he's a bull in a china shop. That's the best way to put it. He is insane.
I think the only reason Washington even let him go is because they have so many defensive linemen.
They just drafted another one. Yeah.
Yeah, he just didn't have any rotation with them because they had too many and they didn't want to pay him.
Yeah.
And he was just the odd man out, getting older.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Just
Like, he's not even that old, is he? Isn't he like...
He's like
yeah,
26, 27. Oh, he's 28. Okay. Good Lord. Like I said, I don't know players' ages, but he's a tough dude. He's strong. He's got a little bit of quickness to him too, and his pass rush moveset is a lot better than you would expect.
Another Temple guy too, apparently.
Oh my Lord. Of course he is.
My God.
And he's probably old enough that he did probably play for Matt Rule at Temple.
But hey, I mean, this is the one that you can be okay with because he's a stud.
I'm not mad at this one.
Yeah. Like I mentioned Boseman as an under-the-radar signing. Ioannidis is the same thing, although I think you guys traded for him, didn't you?
No,
or am I mistaken there?
I think
okay.
I think he signed like a 1 year.
Okay. Either way.
It's basically what Hassan Reddick did last year, except for cheaper.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this front four, like I said, if Matos can step up, it's going to be top of the league, top 3 easily, just based off of those 3 and Burns. You just need Matos to be solid. You don't even need to have him have a breakout year.
Agreed.
And maybe even Barno surprises people.
Yeah, Barno could be a nice rotational dude if he can. I mean, you said you liked his spin move, right, Victor?
Yeah, he was dipping and spinning right past. I don't know who the tackle was for the Commanders. It's probably some guy that's going to get cut, but he's kind of abusing him.
I'm telling you, the defense is really set up to be, if they can put it together.
Yeah.
These corners and this defensive line, the linebackers don't even have to do that much.
Yeah. Speaking of which, sorry, go ahead, Vic.
Just hold coverage for a second or two. Don't even got to worry about the back half because, like I said, it's going to be no fly zone.
I love it.
That's where we can go now. We can talk about this secondary. We already talked about J.C. Horn a little bit. He's awesome. He's a year behind on his development because of the injury, but he's awesome. We saw flashes of it last year. I think he's going to be a hell of a corner here. Dante Jackson's a great compliment to him. His speed is insane. Like, he might be, when you're watching players on tape, the second fastest player in the NFL. I don't know if his 40 time backs that up or anything, but like watching guys on tape, the only person that comes to mind instantly that's quicker than him on film is Tyreek Hill.
Dante Jackson's vertical is also insane.
Yeah.
It's up there. Like high. Like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, the only thing with him though is I think he's a little too quick for his own good. Because you'll notice that he over pursues a little bit and he doesn't have that ability to shift himself real quick if somebody makes a cut. So if he's up against a really good route runner, he's going to get beat. And he's scrawny.
Quite often because he thinks he's faster than he actually is.
Yeah.
And so he tries to make up ground that he can't make up.
Right.
So he's also a ball hawk. I mean, the guy, he forces turnovers or deflects passes very well. But it kind of reminds me of this is a weird one, but Trayvon Diggs for the Cowboys, where it's like, you're either going to get burnt or I'm going to make a play on the ball.
Yeah.
It's one of the two with Dante Jackson.
And that's probably why he's so cocky with his speed. A bunch of the plays on the ball probably because he's like, I'm going to just let this guy run past me. He's going to think he's open, but I'm faster than him.
Right.
And then sometimes it bites him in the ass.
I do like him too because he gets a little bit physical against the run. He's a solid run defender.
Last year, yes. Last year especially, I was surprised. He was in like the week 1 game, he had like 2 tackles for loss where he just dove behind the line of scrimmage and just got in there. And
him and Horn are both guys like that.
I think Horn might actually end up being put on the 1s more this year and Dante on the 2s.
Yeah.
I can see it. Especially if Horn comes out the gates hot, I could see him being – because he's bigger too. He's like – I think he's like 6'2", basically. So – I can see him being put on the number 1s.
Yeah. Now, I was looking at Carolina's like official depth chart on their website, and they have him listed as the Nickelback. And I hate that.
Dante?
Horn or
Yes.
Dante?
Horn.
Oh, no.
That's a terrible idea. I think that's horrible.
Yeah, no.
That has to be because of he's coming back from the injury or something.
Maybe. I would hope.
Because
his short area quickness is abysmal.
Yeah, he's just someone that'll press the life out of you. And
I think CJ would probably be if anybody, CJ Henderson.
Yeah, I agree. Out of the 3 guys you have, he makes the most sense. But Horn as a slot or as a nickel corner, as a slot corner is a horrible idea.
Yeah.
And that's what they had it listed at. When I checked this morning, maybe they changed it, maybe it's updated. I don't know. But this morning when I checked, that's what it was.
I mean, the one on ESPN has him as the 2, but I'm not looking at the Panthers team website.
Here, I'll look it up real quick because I have it saved in my recents. But like, I saw that and it blew my mind. I would assume it's an injury thing. That's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that.
Maybe they're working him back. I don't know. That seems very weird if he is going to be the nickel guy.
Yeah, I think CJ Henderson's a perfect.
No, Panthers have him at outside corner too. What was I looking? Oh, I was looking at our lads. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
They have him listed as the Nickelback. Yep.
Because I think Henderson is a perfect nickel.
I do too.
I agree. That's where Henderson needs to be playing.
He's playing good right now too. So
especially with Horn and Dante, like I think they're great outside, and he could be perfect in the slot.
The only bad thing about him being in the slot, though, is he's not physical at all. He has no physicality to him whatsoever, and he can't play run defense, which you want your nickel to be able to do.
Yeah, but Jeremy Chin sneaks down so much. I feel like
he
helps
point.
a lot with the run defense.
That's true. Yeah, because Jeremy Chin's a fucking wonderful run defender.
I also think Keith Taylor and CJ Henderson are going to switch. I think they're going to be very physical. They could switch plays almost.
Keith Taylor's another guy I know Vic loves.
Yup.
I do too.
If CJ Henderson wasn't playing good in camp, I would have thought that they would have just plugged in Keith at the 3.
When I was doing my research for this, I liked Keith Taylor as a slot corner more than I liked Henderson, if I'm being totally honest. But I mean, if Henderson's playing good football, like you guys said he was in camp, then you got to have your 3 best guys out there.
Yeah.
Because this defense runs a lot more nickel and dime than like any other defense. They're not a team that typically has 3 backers on the field.
Our secondary is stacked too, because Miles Hartsfield is good too. He's been balling out.
So is Sean Chandler's not terrible.
Yeah, he's not bad either. Like if Xavier Woods goes down, you have Sean.
Yeah.
Like the secondary stacked. That's the one thing. Like we have so much depth there. I wish we had it at linebacker.
You'll have a dude named Madre. I didn't know that.
I don't even know that.
Madre Harper.
Couldn't tell you a single thing about that guy.
Huh.
I also just saw Stanley Thomas Oliver III, and I've never
no, he's not good.
He does.
No, but he's got length. That's kind of his thing. He's a long corner, but like Vic said, he's not that good.
Probably practice because I think he was drafted last year.
Duke Dawson is.
Oh, we signed him. That he got a pick in the preseason.
That's where Duke Dawson went.
Apparently.
He got a pick in the preseason, but it was.
I'm talking like I know a lot about Duke Dawson. I know the name because of fucking Madden.
He's the guy that's fast.
Yeah, that's why I know him. Vic, you know damn well why I know him.
But yeah, he got a pick, but it was because of Barno. Barno hit the QB.
Yeah, you were talking about that earlier.
Out in like 2 days.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm pumped too.
I love Madden.
Even though the game sucks, but I love.
Me and Vic have a deep love-hate relationship with that game. Me and him used to be in a long-running Madden league together, and it was a mess.
I've been in a few of those.
Yeah, that's another story for another day, though.
Yeah,
because there was a lot. There is like deep lore within the fucking Madden league.
Well, if you ever start another one, hit me up. I'll be in.
Well, what do you play on?
Xbox.
See, we're on PS4.
Yeah. I don't know why Madden isn't.
It should be crossplay at this point. It's ridiculous.
Is the new one not? It should be.
Maybe it is on next gen, but I'm still on PS4. You would pay $1,000 for PS5.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, I chose my PC over upgrading.
That's valid.
My girlfriend bought me the new Xbox. I didn't even know I was getting it.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was a great day.
Yeah. I feel really bad because I've asked for it for Christmas the past 2 years, and my parents have had to sit me down and talk to me because they were disappointed they couldn't find it. And I'm like, listen, I get it. It's hard.
It was. I talked to her. I was like, "How'd you even find it?" She was like, "It was quite an effort between a lot of people constantly looking for it." I was like, "Geez."
Right. And I felt so bad the past 2 years because they're like genuinely devastated they can't find it for me, and they think I'm going to be disappointed and hate them.
Tiny tangent. It's been 3 years now.
I know, and like they're still
can't get
scarce.
Yeah.
What is this?
It's insane.
It's because of the one chip in it they couldn't mass produce because of COVID, right?
Yeah, I think something like because like
it's ridiculous.
At this time, like 2 years in, PS4s were everywhere.
Yeah, I had a PS4 right away.
You had them on shelves everywhere. They were always stocked.
Yeah,
like even the Xbox, you can't really get.
Yeah,
I know it's
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, listen, I'm not paying $1,000 for a console if I don't have to. Like,
exactly.
It's ridiculous. And it really pisses me off too, because I've had it like in my cart on Best Buy a couple times, like ready to get it, but it was just like, you know, weird times with financial stuff, so we couldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So I've come so close so many times.
And then the bots buy out everything so quick.
Yeah, that's ridiculous too. That's the problem. There's so many goddamn scalpers that buy them and flip them for triple the price, and then dumbasses buy them for that.
They get impatient when it's. Yeah. No, I think the best way now is just to have PlayStation send you that invitation thing where you wait in the virtual line.
I tried that a couple times.
Even then, they sell out quick because PlayStation, for some reason, doesn't even have their own stock.
My mom got pissed off last year during Christmas because her friend walked into Walmart and there were 3. And she bought all 3 of them for her 3 sons, 2 of which don't live with her. And like that she was just mad because of the luck, not because of her doing that. Like that's insane luck for them to have 3 just sitting in a Walmart.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I'm shocked they let her buy all 3.
I know.
Like, I figured they'd put a limit.
You would think.
But I guess she found the chillest Walmart in the world, and they just happen to have 3
in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, she must have found a Walmart out in the fucking boonies somewhere.
Yeah, probably. And there was like nobody working, so there was like, yeah, sure, you can have them.
Yeah. Well, fuck, you're paying $1,500, sure. Like that's the most money they've made in 3 months out there.
Literally sell nothing.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous though, over a goddamn gaming console like that.
Wait, are y'all East Coast or West Coast?
I'm East Coast. He's West Coast.
Oh, okay. I'm East Coast also.
Yeah.
Damn. In the minority here.
Yeah, Vic is like what, like almost 10 o'clock for you? Almost 9. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost midnight.
Yeah, your time zone isn't real. Like that shit doesn't exist.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because I got work in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so do I, but I'll be all right.
Well, shit, I feel bad now. We've been like going off on tangents every 5 minutes.
I wouldn't be asleep anyway.
Oh, okay. Oh my. Okay, so safeties, I guess we already talked about, didn't we? We've praised Chin, praised Wood.
Roster at this point.
All right. Well, I guess.
By the way, should be in the top 100, but he's not making it.
They just had Brian Burns at like 76.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Juszczyk made the top 100.
I feel like he always
number 100. Like yeah, he was 97 last year. This year is 100.
They always just put him in there because like he's the best fullback by a lot.
Like, by a lot.
You have to appreciate a position in football if they're the best at it.
Juszczyk brings value to the fullback position. It's insane.
Yeah, if he wasn't a fullback, like if he like didn't exist, I don't know if
tough
like
for the fullback position.
Yeah,
I don't think it would be because Shanahan's going to use a fullback regardless.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the
if his talent wasn't there.
Yeah, the talent for the fullbacks.
Because like there's a drop off between him and the next.
Yeah, true. It's weird though because the second best fullback's a completely different type of fullback. Like Juszczyk's that Swiss Army knife, he can do everything, and then you go to Ricard, who's just a straight up mauler and a great run blocker.
Doesn't he play D-line a little bit?
He was I don't know if he still plays D-line for the Ravens, but he was drafted as a defensive tackle out of somewhere northeast, Maine, I think. Somewhere in that area. But he was drafted as a D tackle. And then after that, it's like CJ Ham and Alec Ingold, who are both that Swiss Army knife type. Like, Ricard's the only pure mauler fullback in the NFL right now that I can think of. That doesn't have, like, Ricard adds a little bit to the pass game, but he's just a straight up beast that run blocks really well.
Yeah.
Whereas all the other tight ends, you could like put it, or all the other fullbacks, you could put it tight end and they'd still be effective. Like, I think Kyle Juszczyk at tight end would be a top 10 tight end.
Oh yeah, he'd be great at tight end.
Yeah.
He was a 2-time all Ivy League tight end in college at Harvard.
I forgot he went to Harvard.
Dude's a genius.
That's why he's so good at fullback.
Yeah. Delaware. That's where he went. He went to Delaware, not Maine. Ricard went to Delaware.
Same thing.
Pretty much, yeah. It's all white. It's all the same thing.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
It sounds about white, yeah. Sorry, I had to.
It was a good one.
Since we've went through the roster, what are your predictions record-wise for the team? Because I'm sure you're going to have them higher than I am.
You want to do the floor and then the ceiling, or
We can do that, yeah.
Yeah, you can go first, Victor.
the floor? I don't think we do worse than last season. There's no way.
What did you guys go last year?
I think 5-12, or is it 5-11 now, or 5-12?
5-12.
Yeah, I think we were
5-12.
5-12,
Okay.
or 4-13, something like that. We had no more than 5 wins.
Okay.
So I think our floor would probably be 6-11, because Baker Mayfield he's better than Sam Darnold. There's no doubt.
Yeah, he raises your floor. That's the good
Yeah.
thing about Baker.
And then ceiling, I think, is 10 wins. So would that be 10-7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
I'm pretty similar. I think worst case 7, best case 10.
Okay, I think worst case 6, best case 9.
Well, best case, yeah, around 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Just really depends on who stays healthy.
I mean, the middle of the schedule is horrible, like really tough, but the beginning and the end are not that bad.
Yeah.
So if we sneak a game or two in the middle, I think that's gonna help us with that wild card.
Yeah, because I think we're going to lose every division game except for the 2 against Atlanta. I think we're going to sweep Atlanta.
Yeah,
but I think we have both to the Bucs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have y'all finishing 7-10 personally, which is 10th in the NFC.
Just out of curiosity, what do you have the Bears?
5-12.
Okay. I was going.
What did you think? I had the Bears above the Panthers. No, I'm not delusional.
I'm just making sure.
5-12 is a little optimistic. I will be totally honest.
5-12, who do you have as the worst team in the NFL?
The Falcons.
Okay, me too. I think they win 2 games, to be honest.
Yeah. In all fairness, 5-12 ties the Bears for the 4th worst record.
Yeah, about right.
I have the Falcons, Giants, Jaguars below us.
At that point.
Hell yeah. Are you kidding? Fuck
that
yeah.
Would be so nice for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Get that defense back up.
Yeah, I have the Jaguars, Falcons, Giants, and Seahawks with records. So 5th worst we're tied for, because I forgot about the Seahawks. I have those 4 teams below Chicago, and then Chicago and Houston are tied at 5th. But I have Chicago beating Houston, so Houston would get the higher pick, I think is how that works.
See, I have a weird feeling that Atlanta's going to try and lose.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I think Atlanta's going to be like Seattle,
because
they're going to try and lose.
They literally have nothing but Kyle Pitts and AJ Terrell and Grady Jarrett.
And
Ridley, who's suspended for a year.
Yeah, but
he's not going to play there.
Yeah, he might want out because
that's true.
Drake London's there though, and Arnold Ebiketie has really nice upside.
Drake London apparently almost really hurt himself.
Yeah, they said he got off real lucky.
Yeah, pretty much what Zach Wilson has basically, but not as bad.
I'm so glad he didn't tear his ACL. I almost cried when I saw that.
I'm very happy for him. I think Zach Wilson's not a very good quarterback.
You saw the interception he threw?
I missed it. I didn't get to watch the game.
He threw it right at Kaiser White.
It was very bad.
Right.
Kaiser White's just that intimidating.
No, it was.
He said, "Give me the ball, or I'm taking your lunch money, Zachary."
It was like Kaiser White was his wide receiver. He looked right at him and threw it into his hands.
I mean, Zach Wilson. I'm not going to make that joke. That's not an appropriate joke to make. Because it's not on his end. It's his mom that's the problem, not him.
There you go.
But I'm sure y'all knew where I was going with that.
Yeah.
I filled in the blanks in my head.
Yeah. I mean, he was BYU kids, their home life's kind of weird. Which I still think it's so funny that out of every quarterback to have the controversy he did, it's the fucking Mormon.
I know, huh? The Mormon.
Apparently, it's like a very known thing in that town too. Is that that happens? But
Zachary's just that guy. Zach Wilson is the coolest person to go to BYU since Jim McMahon.
Apparently, in the town of BYU, there's a gym where everybody goes and doesn't work out. If you get apparently that's a very known thing in that town. Is that hey, you come here and don't work out, but you do other things.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The Mormons are evolving.
I shouldn't make fun around that I heard.
I shouldn't make fun of Mormons. That's not very nice. I'm not making fun of Mormons, I promise.
No, I deliver for FedEx.
Praising them.
Sometimes I have to deliver to like Mormon communities. Or no, not Mormon, Amish communities. And they don't put their house numbers on their houses. So you just have to like ask people where people live.
Well,
And they know.
Like I'll just be going down the road. I'll be like, hey, do you know where this person lives? And they're like, yeah, up the hill, around the corner, and the third house on your left. I'm like, thanks.
That's crazy.
And then as you walk away, they stare down your big box, wondering what in the world.
No,
you're
it's
moving
more
in.
like as you're driving back out, somebody's coming by on horse and carriage.
Mm.
Yeah.
Isn't there? My sister is telling me that there's some girl on TikTok that's going viral right now because she has a cell phone in an Amish community, and that's like banishment worthy in her town.
I haven't seen that, but that's interesting.
Yeah, she said the only people that know she has it are her parents and her sibling because they want it for emergencies because their nearest hospital is like 17 miles away. And obviously on horseback, it's kind of rough.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, which is yeah, that's crazy. I'm not trying to make fun of those people, but it's crazy to me that people can find ways to live fruitful lives like that. Like that's really impressive to me.
This day and age.
Right, because I can't go 5 minutes without checking my notifications, yet most of them have never touched a cell phone in their life. That's insane. What are we talking about?
I was going to say, I was literally about to ask you, like, where do we rank on the team previews? Probably not very high because of all the tangents we've gone.
No, I mean, this is how all of them go. Literally all of them.
It is funny when you put up the video and you're like, hey, we did another team preview. Some of them are like an hour, and then others are like 2 hours and 40 minutes. I'm like,
yeah,
that one got
and on top of that, when I'm recording, my phone does this the whole time because it's an iPhone 6 that I got my freshman year of high school. That's like on its last legs. I'm not someone who cares about like upgrading to the newest iPhone and stuff, but I let it go way too long and now it's broken.
I just got the newest iPhone like 2 months ago, and before that I had like the iPhone 7, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, like mine sucks. But if it makes you feel any better, I had the kids from the Next Network on here, and I asked Michael what his thoughts on Pittsburgh were, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he went on a 20-minute tangent about the city of Pittsburgh and how it's somewhere he's always wanted to visit. Like that's why I like podcasts so much.
Last thing before we leave, Victor, how are you a Panthers fan if you live on the West Coast?
I don't even know.
Vic, I thought you said you were from Carolina.
No, I'm from Utah.
What the fuck? I was always under the assumption that you were from Carolina because you said you didn't originally live in California.
Yeah, I was born in Utah. I think the main thing is like my dad was kind of a Panthers fan, but not really. And then he had this Carolina Panthers beanie, and I wore it. And then I started watching football. I was like, I'm just a Panthers fan now.
That makes sense.
I'm so sorry.
I grew up in North Carolina, so that's why I'm a Panthers fan.
I have never been to this state of Illinois, and I'm a diehard Bears fan.
Just because, or
because of my dad?
Probably,
yeah.
That's why I'm a Panthers fan. My dad.
Yeah, my dad. He was born in 1980, so when he was little, that was when the Bears were really good. And he had a cousin that lived in Illinois that would like bring him up to visit and stuff. And he would see like everything going on with the Bears and the fridge and Walter Payton.
Your dad was
born
in 1980. How young are you?
I'm 19.
Jeez, I'm old. Okay. I just turned 20.
Yeah, nobody ever thinks I'm my age. I have to convince people that I'm 19 because of the beard.
Yeah.
Like everyone that comes on here thinks I'm like 27, 28, sometimes in my mid-30s.
Mid-30s?
I think mid-30s is pushing it personally.
Yeah.
I don't talk like somebody in their mid-30s.
No. I would have given you like, if I wouldn't have known, I would say like 23.
Yeah, around there, mid-20s.
Yeah. No, I'm 19. I just have a beard. Like if I shave this, I'd look like I'm 12. That's why I have the beard, so people take me seriously.
See, if I try and grow facial hair, I look like I should be in prison. So
valid.
I'm turning 19 in 4 days.
Jeez, really
you're younger than me, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm 18.
I knew it, but we were born the same year, right?
Yeah. Well, you're 03, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did we graduate the same year?
96.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so we're the same age or just a couple months younger.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. And then Caleb's older than both of us, isn't he?
Caleb? I think he's a year younger.
Is he?
Yeah,
What the hell? Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Because I'm having him on to talk about the Broncos. I thought he was our age, but a couple months older than me.
How many team previews do you have left?
To record, let me check.
Probably not that
Because I have a couple like backlog that I haven't uploaded yet. But to record, I think I have like 4 maybe. So not counting this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I have to re-record one because we had an issue with the software. So 5 left. That's crazy. Holy shit.
Is Victor in the fantasy league?
Are you in my league? Are you in my fantasy
ESPN
league?
one? Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Okay.
Nice.
I took Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I had the
Okay.
second or third pick.
Okay, yeah. Dude, I suck at
TikTok
fantasy.
told me I did good, so
I saw they were hyping you up.
yeah.
And that made me feel really bad because I had the first pick.
It's okay.
I suck at this is the first year I've ever been in more than one fantasy league.
Well, if I told you how many I'm in, you'd think I'm crazy. So I think I'm in 11.
Oh my god.
I'm in like 5 right now.
Here's the problem. I say yes to every league, and then there's like 5 that I actually care about. Like yours, I'm gonna want to win just because it'll be fun.
Right.
And then I'm in a money league that's for like a lot of money that I won last year, and so now I have to really care about that one. But I just
see, I'd never put money on fantasy football. I make the mistake of when I'm doing fantasy football, I'm looking at it from like a knowing football analytical perspective and not a fantasy perspective.
I do
so
that
I don't
a lot
know what
when
I'm doing.
making videos on TikTok. I'm like, okay, I got to look at this as a football perspective instead of a fantasy perspective. Because people will comment and be like, no, dude, you're wrong. I'm like, no, you're looking at this as if it's fantasy football, and I'm talking about real football.
Right.
And it's just very difficult to explain.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't understand how fantasy football works. I drafted quarterbacks in the first round until this year.
That's a mistake.
Like the fantasy league I did last year, I drafted Mahomes in the first round. I had like the 4th pick.
Could have been worse. You could have taken a worse quarterback.
It could have been worse. You're right, but it still wasn't smart because like I was going to say Jonathan Taylor, but we didn't know he was going to be good last year.
I won my fantasy league, the money league, with Ryan Tannehill as my quarterback last year. So that'll
good
tell
Lord.
you.
Who did you have around him?
I had a very good team.
You had to have had like Jefferson, Chase.
I had Debo
Taylor.
Samuel,
there it is.
Jonathan Taylor.
There it is.
And I had Derrick Henry, but he got hurt, and then I traded him for some other things. It was a very, All right, sorry, we went on another tangent. My bad.
Yeah, I mean, we're done. We're just kind of fucking around for fun. Unless there's anything else you guys want to bring up, I think we covered it all.
Nope, just that I'm shaving an eyebrow if Baker wins MVP and we lose in the divisional round.
Yeah.
What if we win the divisional round? Do I still have to shave my eyebrow?
No. Okay. That's not the bet. You can keep your eyebrows.
Good.
You can enjoy the win. Okay.
That's perfect.
But anyways, that's going to – well, first of all, thank you guys for coming on. And if you want to plug anything, you're more than welcome to.
Don't ever – yeah, I'm cool.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I figured I'd open up the opportunity. I'll still have like links in the description, obviously, for Alex's TikTok. And Vic, I'll put your Twitter down there since you think you're a Twitter menace.
Good enough.
But that's going to do it for this episode of the Ball Knower Podcast Team Preview Series. Again, thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it. It was a ton of fun.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And to everyone out there watching, make sure you let us know down in the comments below whether or not you agree with what we said, whether or not you, I don't know, what was something controversial we said. I don't think we said anything controversial, did we?
Baker Mayfield's going to win MVP.
There you go. Let us know if you think Baker Mayfield's going to win MVP or not. If you agree, let us know in the comments. If you disagree, let us know in the comments. You can call us out by name, and we will make sure to come fight you in the comments for as long as possible to boost the algorithm by leaving 30 comments. And make sure to leave a like because we just sat here for 2 hours and almost 10 minutes talking about the Carolina Panthers. So, I mean, it's a ton of fun doing these, but it takes work to do all this stuff, and I would appreciate it if I got a little bit of support from you guys. But to Alex, Victor, and everyone else watching this, I hope you all have a wonderful day, night, evening, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you enjoy it because you're all wonderful.